Mm-hmm. It's that time again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's that time again. So. Sup, guys, and welcome to, yeah, a little weird topic, to say the least. Hello. Welcome to the stream, guys. Sup, everyone. Today, I have something. I do have something. Right. Let me quickly set things up again. There we go. So, there's been a little bit of a drama, to say the least. So, first of all, I'm not making this video to, like, hurt anyone and shit. I'm just here to, like, state my opinion and, like, comment on things that I think that might be wrong. And, it's about Outlandish Crafted. Outlandish Crafted. He is a quite known in the Bedrock community scene, and he published a video. He did publish a video. It's right here if you guys want to watch it. That video, in that video, he talks about why he is against coding and why he thinks that JavaScript is wrong for Bedrock. And yeah, we're gonna react to that, I think. I've looked at the comments, right? And as soon as I saw, like, the comments, I knew that, holy shit, I need to be looking at this, okay? So first of all, JSON isn't a programming language, okay? I'm gonna talk about that as well later on, but this was already interesting when I saw this. TLDR, this guy refuses to learn the correct tools and decides to do professional, purposely making something easy. Okay. I don't want to be a coder, I'm a game developer. Also, wild quote. The amount of confusion between JS and JSON, okay. Dude, those comments give him no chill, okay. Bro has no idea what he's saying. Dude, I'm very interested in what this video is about, guys. I even myself made a comment. Wait until he finds out what JSON stands for. Because if you guys didn't know, JSON actually stands for JavaScript Object Notation. When you search JSON, meaning, right? JavaScript Object Notation. Dude, this guy's gonna be in shambles if he finds out that he's been doing JavaScript all along. Okay, I know that JSON is just a like a data store, okay? Don't have to tell me that. But yeah. Most of the comments are overwhelmingly negative, I guess. Wait, Bedrock is C++ and decided to use JS for mods. FN hell, do they know Lua a better choice? There might be cases where, like, other languages would be better to embed inside C++ than JavaScript. But they specifically choose JavaScript QuickJS because it was so easy to embed. V8, on the other hand, it's more difficult, okay? So, yeah. They don't do... Okay, that's just straight up wrong. They don't use JS mods. They use JSON in a changeable format. I mean, yes, but they also use JavaScript. Anyways, I'm excited to watch this video. Why I'm no code and why I think JS is wrong. Have you already watched the video? Just joined. I lurked into it, but I didn't watch it completely. Like I read the comments and I like started watching it, and I already knew, yep, I'm gonna have to react to this because this is gonna be wild. Okay. And again, this guy here, Outlandish Craft, he's quite known in the community. He makes some amazing stuff, right? Some of his tutorials are like actually quite useful, and are like like on a very high level, which you don't really see. Everything is just you know, for beginners. But one thing I have to say is that he also makes tutorials for like more complex stuff and stuff, which I do like. But some of his opinions are questionable, to say the least. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look.
Howdy, I'm CyberX with Outlandishly Craft.
Outlandishly
Today
Craft.
we're going to be talking about why I am not doing JSON and...
Already wrong. He is doing JSON. He's doing more than enough JSON. He probably means JavaScript. He is doing a lot of JSON. But let's just see.
JS coding programming.
Okay, he said both JSON and
JS.
JS. Okay.
JSON questions, and or they'll ask me to debug their code, or they'll ask something like, "Hey, how does this JS work?"
My internet ist echt am Arsch. Well, I know, but actually, 0 drop frames. So I don't know, man. As long as the playback works, I'm like fine. I don't know, man. I have 0 drop frames, so I don't know backward. Boys, let's just look at this. And yes, this is not the video. This is the actual quality. Because he uses like high definition assets in Minecraft. That's kind of his style. But there is just something weird to it. I don't know. Like, it's high definition assets, but it's I don't know, it's really hard to describe actually. Maybe you guys know a better word for that, because anyways,
how do you do this JavaScript text? And I'll say something like, I'm not doing JavaScript. And they'll say,
okay,
but CyberX, why don't you want to do JavaScript? It can do so much more.
Can I turn up the volume of the video a bit? Yes, I can. I'm gonna turn it... for me, it's fine, which is why I'm just gonna turn it up inside the... inside here. I'm gonna give you guys 5 more decibels.
So much more. Well, you know it can do a lot more than my car I drive around? A backhoe.
So this analogy, kind of interesting. So I don't really know where he's going with this. Like, is he gonna say like that he can like do with his car more than... No, he said that with a backhoe he can do more than a... I'm just gonna listen. Let's see what is this about.
A backhoe can do a lot more than my car. But do I want to drive a backhoe around all day to go get me some Wendy's or go get me some groceries? I do not. I do not want to have to maintain a backhoe. I do not want to have to buy a backhoe. I do not want to have to learn how to run a backhoe. Now, you might say, but a backhoe does so much.
Yeah, exactly. So, there are things very specific for a job, right? With a car, you can get around really quickly, and with a backhoe, you can, well, do more stuff, obviously. Like, it's not always about if you should or shouldn't use, it's about where you use your tools. You can use both your car and a backhoe. You think that farmers go home with like their tractors and backhoes and stuff? Like, no. Like, use the right tool for the right job.
Yes, it does. It does a lot more than a shovel does, right? However, if I'm digging the holes that I want with a shovel just fine, why would I take the time to go learn how to use a backhoe?
Well, I don't really understand this analogy. Like, obviously, a backhoe is just gonna be way more efficient, way faster, way anything. Why? Why is he comparing it to a shovel? Why? I mean, this is... What he's basically saying is that he's refusing to learn the backhoe because his shovel works. Which is not necessarily a wrong statement, right? He is fine with like his with his like JSON coding, and it doesn't need the JavaScript thingy. But there are some use cases where it can help a lot to know the backhoe, and sometimes that time, that learning, might just pay out in the end. We'll see.
Right? But it does so much more. But I don't need to do so much more. I'm doing pretty good with what I got right here, just fine.
So he's
blowing all your mine holes. So if I'm doing all of this without JSON and without JS,
he's doing it with JSON, just not with JavaScript. Yeah.
Learning just with Bridge. So I'm doing everything you've ever seen me do with Bridge, just toggling stuff.
So, if you guys didn't know, this is Bridge 1, by the way, there's Bridge 2. By the way, I like Bridge 1 more, I'm just gonna say it. But, Bridge 1 is basically an editor for Minecraft, right? It has some useful tools to do, like, stuff. And the thing that is interesting about Bridge is that they're known for using this JSON tree editor. So, is he saying that he isn't using JSON because he's using the JSON tree editor? Like, obviously, you're still using JSON. No? How does making the tree editor use it? Like, how does making using a tree editor it make not JSON anymore? That's the thing I don't understand. Like, the concepts are always the same, and that's what programming is about. Concepts, right? You have the key value pairs, you have arrays, you have whatever. In what way is this not JSON? This is literally just JSON with like fancy clothes on. And I bet if you know like how to edit JSON in a tree editor, you would also see how you could edit JSON normally. And you can still prefer the one or another way, right? That doesn't matter, you're still editing JSON. So I don't really understand where he's going with that, but let's just see.
I'm a glorified toggler. And the reason why I'm doing Bedrock versus Unreal Engine 5 or Godot or any other thing is because I don't want to be a programmer. I don't want to be a coder. I don't want to do JSON. I don't want to do JS. I don't want to do C#. I don't want to do C++. I don't want to do Python. I am not a coder. I'm not a programmer. I'm a game developer. I want to take all of the features and all of the assets and all of the stuff that's out there, and I want to put it in your game, and I want to develop that game into something amazing.
Okay,
I-
so hold on. He's saying that he is not a programmer, but rather a game developer, and basically saying that those two things are different, right? He's saying basically that he doesn't want to write code because all he really wants to do is just putting things into his game, right? He doesn't want to care about this stuff. But what I question myself is, what exactly does he think he's doing right here? Is that not programming? And you might say, "Oh no, it's JSON. JSON isn't programming. JSON is a data storing format." To which I have to question yourself: when does something become a programming language? Like in the case of Minecraft stuff, right? You have those JSON files. You have state that you can manage with JSON files. You have conditions. You have what is essentially a turning complete machine with JSON. What does it not make a programming language at this point? And even with like Molang, right? A bunch of stuff inside JSON is written, or like you have to use Molang for. And I know for a fact he used Molang for a lot of stuff there. So what does Molang and JSON differentiate it with normal programming? Like, that's the thing I'm not understanding. I think he just thinks that like the stereotypical type of programming that you have to like see and write text and stuff is like shit and stuff. But even if you have like something like Scratch, right? We are just moving blocks and whatever. That is still considered programming. So why does he think that writing JSON, managing a state, managing Molang and stuff, what does this make it not programming? Hi Pri. Hello Tanks. Welcome to the stream. Let's just see.
Do not want to sit in a closet for the rest of my life looking at a code screen, thinking about the syntax and why it's wrong, and spending my days in some code window.
Well, I'm sorry, but that's literally what you're doing here. Like, aren't you doing exactly that? You have your code window, you're looking at syntax, you're looking at a way of ordering, right? This is, even though this is like a tree editor and stuff, you still have to know what belongs where. You know that components cannot belong inside events and stuff. That is syntax. So what makes you think that you're not writing syntax, that you're not programming here?
I don't want to do it.
Okay, that's cool. If you don't want to do it, then stop doing it.
They've tried to make me do it for 30 fucking years, and I don't want to do it. It's not how my brain works. It's not who I am. It's not what I enjoy doing.
Of course, there are just some people that can sink in information better than others, right? Those 10x developers, they might exist, okay? There are people that can learn faster. But is that really a reason why you should just not learn anything? Like, how did you learn walking and stuff? There were people that walked before you ever could. What, should it just be crawling instead now?
I hate doing it. I hate it with a...
There's a different thing with, like, coding because of fun and coding because you have to. And I do get it. If you don't like it, don't code. If you have no passion, if you don't wanna code, don't code. But like, why why make up the stuff all around that? You know? That's the thing I'm not understanding here.
Passion. The last thing that I want to do every day is get up and look at code in a code screen.
I'm sorry, dude. But
I don't want
that's
to
what
do
you're
it.
doing.
I hate it. I would rather go to Unreal Engine and do blueprints than be forced to do code in Bedrock.
Okay, so again, blueprints in Unreal Engine are also a way of coding. Blueprints are amazing, okay? What does making blueprints in Unreal Engine not coding? Like, you still have the concepts of coding, right? You still have the flows, the states, the whatever. It's still coding, just like Scratch is also coding. It's visual coding. Obviously, you're not writing text and stuff, but it's the concepts that matter.
The reason I'm in Bedrock is because I could do it without any code, and it wasn't a requirement of JS or learning a language or being a coder or trying to be a fake programmer and going through all this process. It's not how my brain works, and so let me explain that. All of us have different brains.
Give me the
Our
explanation.
brains have different pathways, our brains have different strengths, and our brains have different abilities. And one of my weaknesses is I don't have the ability to memorize concepts. So these concepts that are required.
Let him speak.
I have an extreme ability to problem solve. I have an extreme ability to logically reason. And I have blah, 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 visualizations. Blah, blah. I obviously, this is exactly what I'm trying to say. My English failures say I can't properly pronounce the phonics of this because English requires me to memorize how the phonics breaks up and what all of these R's and vowels and A's and A's and IOUs and all of these things. But see, my brain can't remember and hold this data. So for 30 years, especially going through school, the teachers would tell me this stuff, and it would be there for a few days, and then it's gone. And then they give me a test, and I'd fail the test because I cannot remember these things. That's not how my brain works. Now, I can problem solve them by going and having it read that to me, or going through a process, a logical process to do it. However, programming is all about memorization of syntax, learning how the concepts of each language function.
Okay. Well, doesn't he have to memorize the JSON structure and syntax as well? Yeah, of course. And even if it's like with a tree editor, he has to still memorize it. And, well, yeah, let's go on to his like points, right? He is saying that he has problem-solving capabilities, logical reasoning, and whatever the fuck that was. But he doesn't... Or he cannot learn the programming concepts and the syntax. Well, so syntax is not something you learn, okay? It's just something that clicks in your brain. You're not programming and trying to remember the syntax, okay? That's not what you do. When you program, you problem solve, okay? There are specific concepts, okay? Like how to do binary search and stuff, right? That, yes, you might have to look them up, but the thing about programming is, it's not like school. You are allowed to look stuff up. You don't have to memorize everything. If I don't know how to do binary search, I'm just gonna look it up. And the thing with the school, right? There is just something about like passion that goes along with like with like learning. If you are in school, right, and you don't want to learn anything, you're not gonna learn anything. And I can tell you from my experience. I am also not very good at like linguistic stuff, and I have my problems with speaking both in my of speaking and reading both in my main language and English, and I still do JavaScript stuff. It's crazy, right? From my experience, I can tell you that JavaScript is not about memorizing the syntax, okay? And it is true that some concepts you just gotta know, okay? But I also think that at the point where you like learn JSON syntax or the Minecraft JSON structure, if you were able to do that, then you probably have a good chance to learn the JavaScript syntax, the JavaScript concepts as well. It's just logic, okay? There's no weird... Okay, there is an abstraction layer to it, but most of the time, all your writing is just logic, and concepts are just different types of logics combined, okay? So if you have a good problem-solving ability and logical reasoning, then you would be also good at getting those concepts out of you. I'm not saying that you have to learn the concepts, right? I'm saying that you can produce the concepts, basically, from your problem-solving ability, skills, and whatever, as you go. Okay? Anyways, let's see what he has to say to that.
And I cannot do this. I was tested in school, and the test showed that I was unable to remember and store the auditory and visual cues that others learned best with. So in
first of all, I'm aware something like JSON UI is way more difficult than the JS. And guess what? JSON UI has concepts as well, okay? It's not like it's just random piles of text and stuff. Once you like know the concepts and stuff, JSON UI becomes a little easier. There are some quirks to it, of course. And you gotta learn those quirks. But you learn those quirks by iteration. You try doing something, you fail, and then you try again, and then maybe you fail again. But there's gonna be that point where the thing that you tried will succeed you. And that's basically a concept that you have just kind of problem solved you into without like having to do much of the learning stuff. Right? Even in a language or like even in an environment like JSON UI, you still have concepts, you still learn them by doing. It's not different from your average programming language, I'd say. I'd say it's a pretty similar experience. For me, it was a pretty similar experience with like writing my very first JavaScript code and like writing my very first JSON UI code. I sat hours there, failing. I thought I couldn't do it, right? But it's not the thought that makes you succeed in things, right? It's the will. And if you really want to do something, you're gonna make it. And about the school thingy, right? I think he's just describing autism here at this point. I don't know if that's like what he actually has and stuff, but that's just like common symptoms of autism, right? You don't really know what's going on around you. You don't remember anything you said, but you do remember very specific things, right? And I have a guy in my school who has autism, and guess what? He can code. He is weird in school as he cannot remember stuff that was just said or like, he can remember stuff, okay? It's just that he not always listens to it, but he tries to make it up by thinking logically. And that's the thing about programming. You think logically. You don't have to have great understanding or great capabilities of listening to someone. You don't learn by... I know this will sound very ironic, but you don't learn by watching tutorials, okay? Like, that's one thing that I want to clear out. You don't learn by watching tutorials. You learn by actually trying. Anyways, let's go further.
School, I failed. I failed a lot. It would probably not surprise you to learn that I don't have a high school diploma. I had enough credits to get one, but because of this failure point, I struggled to finish one of the required credits required to graduate. So even though I had enough credits, I didn't have the right credit.
Right. I mean, I cannot tell you what you did or didn't do in your school, okay? That's just something I don't know. But the fact that you are still here saying this while doing all the JSON stuff shows that you do have the ability to do such things, right? I'm not trying to convince you to, like, learn JavaScript and stuff. If it's your thing, if you want to do it or not. But the fact that you learned all this Minecraft concepts, yes, which are concepts by the way, shows that you do have some kind of understanding on what is going on there. And hey, maybe the school wasn't like made for you. And to which I have to say, same bro. School sucks. What are you supposed to do about it? But here we are, writing our code, creating amazing things in-game, and living our lives.
0.025 of a credit I was missing because of I couldn't pass an advanced math class. So, even though you've seen all of my work and all of the phenomenal things I do and I'm able to do through problem solving and logical reasoning, when you put me into a programming environment and require me to apply programming skills that I can't remember or memorize the syntax and the rules to, then all of a sudden I fail and my failure rate skyrocket. So before I found Bridge and I was just doing JSON by itself, my failure rates were over 20%.
Wow, 20%. No, as I said, it's completely fine to fail. You are supposed to fail. You learn from failure. And the fact that you're here, being able to write, even if it's a thing like Bridge, right, shows that you are very well capable of remembering concepts and stuff. Like, it is okay and it is good to fail. I wasn't born a super talent. I had to fail a lot. I straight up sat a week there and tried making the system that I had in brain, which was almost kind of impossible to that time of scripting API. But with problem solving, with weird quirks, with weird methods, I still managed to create that system. And for anyone wondering what that system was, it was like a system where when you died, or like when you disconnected, it created like a copy with your items. It was before like the player before leave event. So I had to get really creative there, and I didn't like it. Or like, I didn't like how shitty it was, but I liked succeeding in it. I straight up spent a week doing nothing but trying to figure out how to fail less, okay?
In all of the things I was doing, because I was constantly struggling with how to even get past the JSON syntax. Now you say, well, you could just use autocomplete. Well, autocomplete is fine if you're doing JSON for JSON Industries, but we're doing JSON for Bedrock, which is niche. And so all of the rules
Whatever.
and syntax and the things that don't work and do work and the mojings and then all of that cause all of these memorizations that you need to have. You need to memorize and know what all of those different rules are and all the format versions and what this and what that and all of those things do. Using Bridge, I don't need to do any of that.
Auto completions. So first of all, JSON by itself, right, doesn't have auto completions, or how you call it. It's just a way of storing data. There is no rule on which key value pairs you put in JSON. That's up to you. There's something called JSON schemas, which define how the JSON is supposed to look like. And this thingy here, those auto completions that you see inside your editor, this is just a JSON schema as well. In fact, there is a plugin for like VS Code, Blockception, which is just that. Auto completions for your JSON files. Let's go into like anything in here. Gravity Bomb, okay? I can go here into components and see all the auto completions that exist here. Right? You don't have to memorize them. I would agree that if you would have to memorize those, it would be quite a problem. I wouldn't be able to do it. And if I would have the option to either use pure JSON or Bridge with a tree editor and some auto completions, I obviously would choose Bridge, right? But I feel like he just lacks the understanding of how like the stuff works under the hood, which you don't really have to. But essentially, it's a schema that is applied to your JSON that validates where something has to go and where not. In that case, this plugin here, Blockceptions, which is not the greatest, admittingly, provides those schemas. And you don't have to know anything from nothing, right? You still have auto completions. You still have this. You still have the formats. It's gonna tell you if you mess up somewhere when you like have a key which is like not allowed. A key which is not allowed. Okay. You don't have to memorize that. I might get the point that like the braces kind of throw one off, right? But that's just one thing that you learn by doing. You could go ahead and watch a YouTube tutorial for that, right? But that's not how you learn. You learn by doing. I want you to I gotta go. Really enjoy watching your stream. Keep on doing good work. Thanks, man. And bye bye. Yeah, right. Where was I? Yeah, right. You learn by doing stuff and not by watching stuff. Which is why I actually like kind of stopped doing tutorials, I guess. Because I know I had the thought before that like my tutorials don't help anyone except myself. Because teaching is the best way of learning, but that's a different story. I see people asking me questions which should be clear at that point. And I'm not saying that being new to something is something bad, right? Being new to something is completely okay. But you need to know that if you're gonna watch tutorials, right, and you're not gonna get to the point where you are gonna be able to write something like that out of your mind. Because you're just missing the fundamentals. So what I did with my JSON UI series is I always presented a problem and showed a solution. But I'm still not happy about it. I didn't learn JSON UI by watching tutorials. I didn't learn JavaScript by watching tutorials, no. I experimented. I tried stuff out. And then I watched tutorials. With an already existing understanding of stuff. Because that's basically just making a check mark in my book, seeing if the things that I learned from my experience are the things that are common. That you have to do, that you do. So, that's one thing.
Open up the software, you put in the format version you want, it does all of the rest of the work. All I have to do is do this little drop down and push something from the list.
Yeah, that's exactly what you do with JSON. You just perfectly describe JSON. Oh my god, it's so crazy. I think I think we need to use Bridge now. Holy shit. Now, but on a real note, if you're just going for the auto completions, then I don't know. Maybe he just lacked the knowledge of this existing. But to which I have to question, what do you think would be the Minecraft, would be happening in the JavaScript world? You think there are no tools for doing stuff in the Minecraft JavaScript world? Of course there are. It's called type definitions. Pretty similar to this. You just a world dot, and oh my god, this is all related to Minecraft somehow. This is not JavaScript. It is JavaScript, but like this is Minecraft specific. It's almost like you could configure the stuff to a Minecraft to be a Minecraft workspace, right? It's weird. This point doesn't quite make sense to me. I think it's just you know, not knowing the stuff. I think it's just misunderstanding maybe. I'd love to hear what he means with like that, because I don't see how this isn't applicable to just JSON without the tree editor or JavaScript.
So if I say, hey, I need to add a component, all the components in the game are here, and I literally just go through and test every one of them and see what it does and if it works for me.
Yeah.
So trial and error.
That's how you program.
Development. Now, if you
guess what? That's how you also learn how to script. What the fuck? Crazy concept, right?
You say, oh, well, here's a backhoe, and now you need to go learn JS and do programming to continue doing what you're doing, or to do anything new, or to use blocks, or to do items. Personally, I think that's a really, really negative thing to add into the Bedrock community. I know a lot of people say, well, it's so good because it adds so much more and it does so much more. But if you want so much more and you want that ability, then go to Java. We already...
No. The thing with Bedrock is... Okay, I'm gonna take his other point first, okay? Like, he's kind of implying that you cannot do trial and error with like JavaScript because it's so much more complicated. You can definitely do that, and guess what? To learn, you also have to do that, okay? To this other point, if you want customizability, then just go to Java. The art of Bedrock development, which I always liked, is the fact that everything is from the game itself, okay? Like, in Java, to like mod something, you have to decompile the game and map some symbols to names and reverse Minecraft's deobfuscation shit, right? I agree, that's ass, which is why I'm developing in Bedrock. Microsoft provides all those useful tools, which sometimes at least go over multiple versions, right? And yes, there are Java data packs, but they are way less powerful than Bedrock add-ons. Like, if I would have to like draw somewhere, right? We had Java mods, right? We would have mods. Then we would have add-ons. And then here maybe data packs. Data packs, right? So this is the official area, right? This is official. And this is third party. For example, Forge, Fabric, whatever. Scripting API is so fun to learn also. I don't need to reopen the world just using reload. Yeah, it's really convenient. Because Microsoft knows, like, what Microsoft has full control what they can do with, like, their modding API. Right? But anyways, to my point. This thingy here could break, it could change, it could whatever. Best example is the removal of PDB files. Believe it or not, but Bedrock mods existed in the form of the Amethyst launcher, which is a project by Fredox, I think, or Freddy, I don't know. And guess what? This mods aspect, it died out in a single update. Because they were relying on Mojang. Right? Because their tool relied on something that they couldn't rely on. With add-ons and data packs, you obviously still have the risk that Minecraft might discontinue a feature or something, but I feel like that it's safer to use add-ons and data packs than, for example, mods. That is something that always kept me inside the Minecraft Bedrock bubble. Okay? Like, knowing that there is support for what you do, it's just great.
You have Java where you can be a programmer and you can be a coder and you have the ability to do so much more. Why would we take Bedrock and make it as difficult and, you know, a nightmare to deal with and mod in and add-ins in and dev in as Java when we already have Java?
Ooh, why do people play Bedrock? It's because either they have shitty devices, they have friends, they just prefer the development cycle of Bedrock better than like all the bullshit that you have to do in Java to add like a single item. Like, Bedrock is not the version that you go for when you're just massively skill issuing, okay? Like, Bedrock has a very different targeted audience, and if you wanna create content and games for that target audience, who are you to say to deny those things? Like, as a developer, you obviously wanna have that your creation gets as many people as possible. Why would I make my creation only available for PC players or something like that? I like the fact that people can just join my world, no matter if Xbox, mobile, and whatever, and experience the work I created, which is simply not possible in Java. Why would I go to Java? Tell me. And it's not like Bedrock doesn't offer great tools, right? They're not purposefully making stuff shit, okay? They listen to the community, and especially some people like Dark Navi, right? They are very close to the scripters. If some feature is like very misleading or something, we could just go ahead and tell the Mojang devs, hey, that feature I don't like. And if they maybe agree with something like that, they will definitely change it. This is not something that you will see in Java, for example. We as Bedrock devs are working so closely with like the official Mojang employees. It's crazy. Well, why would I not want to do that? Absolutely, absolutely.
The benefit of Bedrock is it met everybody where they were. So someone that's 8 years old or 10 years old that has no background of anything can pick it up and in a few hours learn how to do things. But now that the bar of entry has been raised to a JS level, those same kids now have to go learn a programming language or learn JS and the fundamentals of programming plus JSON just to do what they could do or what we were told we would be able to do over the last few years.
Obviously, it's another layer of abstraction that you have to add. If you want to like create something. For example, the custom components drama, right? They removed something, for example, the on-step component on blocks in favor of custom components for JavaScript. Right? it is a pretty controversial topic. I don't really care that much about it. By the way, there is a fly flying around, which is kind of annoying. But yeah, I don't really care that much about it because, well, I've been developing in JavaScript for a lot of time, and I might see for people that like just use JSON that it's frustrating that they need to learn something new just to get the same thing done that they managed to do previously, and I do get that. I completely understand. And as someone new, I also think that well just learning like JavaScript as well. I mean, to be honest, if you're new, you don't actually learn. You just copy paste. You copy paste, modify, and see. To which, yeah, you just trial and error, right? And I think that even with like block stuff, like even with like JavaScript stuff, you can still trial and error just as well, if not better than like all the JSON stuff. And you also have to consider that there are way more resources for JavaScript than there are for this specific Bedrock JSON stuff. The developer velocity is just so higher. You can iterate so much faster, right? If you have, for example, if you want to do custom logic, right? You can ask ChatGPT, for example. Which I do not recommend, by the way, because ChatGPT is omega mid and you should try to figure stuff out on your own. But the fact that there are so many online resources on like JavaScript makes you think that, hey, maybe JavaScript isn't that hard maybe to learn. Especially if there are resources online. And yes, searching up, and I talked about it earlier, Googling is a very important part to learn. Like, knowing how to search for stuff is also very important. I relate to that, and yes, I always use ChatGPT. And, yeah, there's a lot of stuff in ChatGPT. I do not recommend it. If you wanna really understand the thing, you can like use ChatGPT as a help, right? You can make ChatGPT maybe explain the code and stuff. And it's good that those tools exist. No questions asked. Yeah. Well, let's just see what he has to say.
So why do I think that that's happened? Why do I think that things have changed and all of a sudden now we're getting JSON? Well, personally, I think it's because they want to raise the bar so that it's a higher entry level. I think Marketplace is saturated and overwhelmed. There's a lot of junk and a lot of bad stuff, and instead of having a better review process and holding partners to a higher standard, the solution is raise the bar so only, you know, programmers and JS and people that have a programming background, in essence, will be able to get those jobs. So
that's a very interesting take, and I find that kind of confusing. It's not like that if you're just one person who makes like crappy add-ons and stuff, you're gonna get accepted into a marketplace. No. Even though you can hate on the stuff that is on the marketplace as much as you want, but the people sitting behind there are definitely not inexperienced newbies, okay? They're not entry-level developers. Those are people who've been there for multiple years. And yes, you might see something a little silly like, what, Dream Skins or something like that. But there's probably a company sitting behind that, a marketplace team, right? Hiring the developers and stuff. And now, let me ask you this. What is easier to hire? Some Minecraft expert or someone who knows JavaScript and knows how to read documentation? I would argue that finding a JavaScript developer for game development is easier than finding someone that is very experienced with all the Minecraft JSON quirks and stuff. And you don't get accepted into the marketplace program just like that. You need to be on a very high level. And yes, the marketplace is quite saturated. I actually would like to turn the statement around. The marketplace doesn't have enough consumers, right? I'm fine with having a saturated marketplace. That's completely fine for me. It's just that there is just not enough people who use the stuff on the marketplace. That is because it costs money. Those aren't just kids publish the stuff hoping to get money. No, those are marketplace teams, companies, whatever. So, I don't know. I do not agree with this take.
Going forward, the marketplace will be full of programmers with college degrees more than it will be indie devs that came from the community.
No, just no. I can tell you, right, if I would be there and had the option, either a college student who learned programming by going to a school, or having someone that learned programming by doing and figuring out, I would 100% choose the one that learned it on its own. It's actually quite simple. If you do, programming is a thing of passion. If you don't have the passion, you're not gonna learn anything. You gotta be invested into the stuff that you're making to be good at. You're not gonna see people. I mean, maybe you see people with college degrees programming, right? It's definitely not a exception, but there is a type of quality, right, that just exists in the self-taught programmers. They might not be familiar with special names or concepts, right? But I do think that they tend to have a higher problem-solving ability, which is why you could maybe get them to integrate into the environment way better. I bet that people like Conmaster, maybe, right? Conmaster. I do not think that he goes to a college or something like that to learn about his stuff. No, he's self-taught. And guess what? He's one of the best scripters that are in the scripting community. Or actually, if you just look at the people that are like in our scripting community, most of the people don't have that scripting college degree or something like that. Most of them are self-taught. Me included. And I bet you that there are many people in like the marketplace that are currently making stuff with scripting that still, goddamn fly, that like still use that still don't have a college degree. I can bet you that. You don't gotta be a professional to do that. Anyways.
In my opinion, that's disgusting. I think that's really sad and disappointing. I think the entire niche and one of the greatest reasons why Bedrock has done what it's done and been what it's done is because the entry point is so easy and the ability to get in and learn stuff is so easy. In my opinion, Bedrock is the #1 best place to start doing game development, or it was until JS was out.
Nope. I still think, like, you do gotta remember that even stuff like JavaScript gets you into JavaScript, right? If you learn JavaScript to Minecraft just like I did, you have the knowledge of JavaScript that you can actually apply in different areas. If you learn your little JSON quirks and stuff, you might not be able to apply it in like any other job. But with JavaScript, you learn it through Minecraft, through game development, and guess what? You can apply it in other areas. I can, again, talk from my experience. I started doing my JavaScript stuff in Minecraft, and guess what? Now I'm able to do what Discord bots, even my own website, skulls.de, right? My thingy. And guess what? That all started with me, with silly little me, wanting to code JavaScript in Minecraft Bedrock. Or that wasn't really my intention, to be honest. Like, I didn't went to Bedrock and said, yes, I want to learn JavaScript. No, I wanted a feature. And I saw that, oh, I need this to do this feature, right? I need to do that. And I looked at it. And I spent time with it. This wouldn't be different than doing all the JSON stuff. You would still have to go there, look at a feature. Oh, I need this to accomplish that. and apply this concept. How is it different than the JavaScript stuff? Like, for both cases, both JavaScript and JSON, you still need to go there and, oh, I need this to accomplish that. And then you need to apply it. That is programming. Yeah, I'm also self-studying without a college degree. See, there are a lot of people that program without a college degree.
JS has been added, it's so convoluted and the bar's been raised and there's so much complexity and mess to it that you might...
The skill ceiling has been raised, okay? There is... Obviously, you still can... you can do way much more. You have a still higher skill ceiling. But only because you don't know the new technology doesn't mean that, like... it is now harder to do or something, right? If they add a new feature, you cannot just say, oh no, it's so hard, what the fuck? Like, spend time with it, spend time with the new feature, and then please judge about it. Because you don't know how easy it is to get into JavaScript. You didn't try it. It's the reality. How can you sit there and tell people that it's now so much harder to get into JavaScript? Why didn't you consider the fact that it could be easier? From your knowledge point, where you already have, the 20 years of JSON and stuff, right? Okay, sure, you only know JSON, I get it. But you will never have the experience as someone who is just starting out. And obviously, it's a new thing that you gotta learn. And I bet if Minecraft would introduce a non-JavaScript feature that is new, like for example .molang files or something like that, would that be bad? Would it be bad to be able to link Molang files to your JSON stuff code? Like, I don't think so. Mojang is not purposefully trying to make stuff harder. They're not purposefully trying to raise the ceiling. In fact, Game Test, the scripting API, started out as a testing framework for Minecraft to see if your add-ons worked. And then they saw, oh, people like using this testing framework to add on to their Minecraft gameplay. And then they made this a thing. We, as a community, made the scripting API what it is today. If we wouldn't have used it, if we wouldn't have built or stuff with it, we would probably still have funny little silly game test that is oriented towards marketplace developers to ensure that their add-ons work 100% of the time. But no, we, the community, used game test and made and added onto our gameplay. And it's just crazy. It was us, the community, who enabled the scripting API.
As well just go learn Godot or UE5 or just go full into some other actual engine that has the ability to handle all the stuff you're going to do.
No, I want to do Minecraft stuff. I'm going to keep doing Minecraft stuff. It's that simple. I want to have the feelings, the aesthetic, the player base that Minecraft already has. I don't want to do anything from scratch. And trust me, I tried. And I did do something. But there's just something about Minecraft modding, Minecraft add-on, creating add-ons, which is charming. And, well, saying that I should go do something else is kind of weird. And yes, it's kind of weird that this is exactly at your point that you're speaking about. Oh, yeah, go do something else while I like that. I'm not judging you for having a preference towards the JSON stuff. I'm judging you for your wrong takes, that you do not have experience, and I'm trying to get that experience, trying to clear up the things that are missing in the video. I'm not judging you for not wanting to do something, okay? I'm just saying what I think is wrong, okay? Takes that you have no experience of, where I just know that are not like that. I'm trying to correct them. I'm not forcing you to do JavaScript and stuff. I'm trying to convince you that it's, hey, maybe not as bad as you think.
Because yeah, you may say, well, JS is so powerful and can do so much, but is Bedrock the place for JS to be using that power and doing so much more?
Why not?
I don't think so. I think Bedrock was in a really good place with JS and with the
He's confusing up JS and JSON so much.
systems that had been put in, and I think that it would have been a much better move for the ecosystem, the community, if they pushed forward with JS blocks instead, and the JSON blocks instead,
Yeah,
and
there we
JS
go.
was never added or put in. However, in that scenario, the people that lose the most are the developers at Mojang. The developers at Mojang don't want to be doing JS. They are professional programmers and developers and coders.
JSON,
They
right?
want to be doing programming, and programming is in JS. They don't want to be doing JSON and be doing stuff like we're doing it now, or we're doing it, because that's not what they were that's not what their education is, and that's not what they're hired to do. And programmers are going to program.
I don't understand this take. Is he saying that, like, Mojang wants to add a JavaScript API because they're developers? You do realize that for this JSON stuff, they also had to program in an abstraction from the C++ world into this? I don't get the point. What is so different about embedding JS than embedding the JSON stuff? I don't get it.
Programmers are not going to look at the customer and say, oh, we have an 8 to 10-year-old coming into this industry and they're starting out, this will be the first time they're doing anything, we should give them a easy non-coding experience to get them started, to teach them these concepts of game development. Instead, they're going to say, we're programmers and the solution to everything and every problem is programming.
No, well, why can't you say the exact same thing about programming? Like, this point that you just made is also true for programming. You can just make someone sit in front of a computer, write something, and teach the concepts in that. It doesn't matter if it's programming or JSON. You can obviously still teach concepts with programming. In fact, you even have to. It's not like, bam, you know everything, right? Not like you're gonna watch a tutorial and then know anything. No, you obviously still have to go there, view concepts, and learn them. I don't know where this assumption comes from, that you just know everything, or that just everything is impossible to, like, do. Gosh.
That's the only tool they have. They don't have any other tools. They didn't learn this way. Most of them went to college, they got a college degree, and then they got a job in game development. They aren't indie devs that came up through the industry, learned the hard way, didn't have the guides, learned how to do it, and made something of it. And that's a big difference, because if you come from, public education or private, upper education, then you believe in most cases the solution of all the world's problems are just government and upper education.
Is he, like, saying that if you come from education, you think that education is the solution? I mean, let me think about that. I mean, again, the stuff that is done here with the JSON stuff is probably pretty similar to embed than the JavaScript thingy. I do not understand. It's the people that it's targeting that's a real issue. I don't think it's the people at Microsoft who have problems with, like, getting a task done. If their task is, hey, create a JSON API backend for, like, blocks and stuff, okay, they're gonna do it. If their task is create a JavaScript API, whatever the fuck, they're gonna do that as well. I don't understand. Where's the difference? I don't get it. I don't get the point. I don't understand what he's trying to say.
I don't believe that. I think that most of our problems are government education. So there's just a huge divide there of who and what do you think is the solution to our issues. I don't think we have issues in Bedrock. I think Bedrock was going really well, and we were just asking for 1% more, and instead they dumped the 99% we had that was working great and now gave us a hybrid of two systems, both of which, in my opinion, don't work well.
Okay. That's interesting. Well, let me process this. He's saying that... Okay, so... He's saying that the already existing system was great, right? From his point of view. I say... I and many others say, no. They want to do stuff... They want to do more stuff, right? Again, I talked about it earlier. I had a vision. I looked at what I have to do to get to this vision. Oh, it was scripting. I wanted to get a chat input or something like that. I needed to do scripting, specifically that. And, you know, you already know the boundaries of Minecraft. For someone who is very new to, like, also the JSON stuff and stuff, right? I don't know the boundaries of Minecraft. If you would tell me the first time I developed Minecraft stuff, oh, I cannot be, I can't be getting the chat, then, well, then a complete vision that I had is just broken. And to reduce that amount is obviously a good thing. And it's not like they're throwing away 99% of the old systems. Like, they are providing substitutions for them. And even if most of the old systems still work. Like, and I do think that defining your items in JSON will always remain. It is just that they want to try to separate logic and definition. Right? Separation of concerns or something like that. It's complete bullshit, but I don't see where that is something that they don't take away. They just add on. And yes, destroying a system where you had knowledge to kind of sucks. But please remember that there are people that are new to this, that are coming from a new background, that don't know yet what's possible in Minecraft and what is not. And for Mojang allowing to, like, have something that they are more comfortable working on, and that is also accepted more widely by, like, the public community. What's wrong about that?
So, back to the core, why am I not doing JSON? One,
JavaScript?
I think it's...
Oh wait, I actually think he thinks that this is not JSON. Like, I genuinely believe that he thinks that... Oh shit. Dude, this fly is so annoying. That's weird, it is. It really is. Like, is he thinking that what he is doing here is not JSON? Because hell yeah it is. This is just JSON.
Wrong to add it to Bedrock. I think it's the wrong move for the community. I think it's the wrong move for the players. I think it's the wrong move for indie game developers learning to get into the industry. If they wanted to make a more advanced, better system, they should have taken Java and they should have done something with it. It is already that system that they say they want, and most people don't want to play it. Most people don't.
Again, Bedrock and Java, very different type of people that play it. And also, what do you mean people don't want to do Java? Java modding is way more popular than Bedrock modding. People want to do Java modding. And guess what? There are also tools in Java which make modding easier. Like, how is it? MC Creator or something like that? I don't know. I think it was MC Creator. There are also tools for Java that make modding easier. People do want to have modding. People do want to have capabilities. And if you have... I'm gonna take my point from before again, right? If you have a vision and cannot fulfill the vision because of limitations by the game, that sucks. That fucking sucks. Now, reducing those limitations is a good thing. And how they do it, well, it doesn't really matter. Because if you're here and trying to learn something, you directly go to what you need to learn. You look at what you need to do to accomplish that task.
Want to dev in it. Most people don't want to do it because it's too difficult. Almost all of the people doing Bedrock dev now were doing Java dev. I started in Java.
I find that very hard to believe. I find that very hard to believe. I don't think that people who mod Bedrock were like trying to do Java before and then just realized it was too difficult. I think people start with Bedrock and stick to Bedrock. That's just it. Because of reasons we, yeah. What's that? Huh. Yeah. Sorry, I kind of got lost there. Let's just continue.
I don't want to do Java. I don't want to do the difficult bullshit that they have to do just to make simple things function. And yet, all of a sudden now, we got to do more complex, more overhead, more diagging, more learning programming, more bullshit because they want more without saying what that more is.
Right, I'm gonna have to pause here. The art of programming is that you make a system that you yourself understand. Okay? You're not following some principles, some guides or something like that. No. You make a system that you understand. Good example here. This looks pretty much similar to the JSON stuff that you're doing. With the only difference being that I have control over what each individual thing does. And hey, if you don't wanna create your own version of the JSON thing, that's fine. That's also fine. You can just continue writing code normal. But if you wanna make the JavaScript the way you want to, you have the ability to do so. No one's saying you have to do it, but you have the ability to do so. And that's what many people like about it. The ability of freedom.
Or without actually even like giving a goalpost. So yeah, JS can do more. Great. Back to the backhoe. I don't want a backhoe in Bedrock. You could put a backhoe in Java just fine. They like backhoes over there. They like complex, difficult things that are hard to maintain and costly.
No. Hey, stop. We also like having features in Bedrock. Like, just imagine, like, you could make the exact same argument for like the JSON stuff. For example, 1.16.100 or something like that. Holiday creator features, right? Oh, why would you use holiday creator features when you can use command blocks? You are essentially using the backhoe, which now turned into a shovel. Like, why aren't you doing everything with commands? Why are you, why don't you have the same Minecraft chainmail armor, which when you drop, does something, okay? It's obviously. Like, you could still do most of the stuff with command blocks and stuff. Why don't you do stuff with command blocks and renaming an item and dropping it and doing all that stuff? How though? For example, for a custom item, you have an item, you name it something, and then when you drop it, you detect its name and kill it. No one does that anymore. Why? Because we now have that backhoe that makes everything so much easier. And that already happened once. I don't know why he's not complaining about this JSON system when command blocks exist, you know? That's one thing I don't understand. Like, it's not like this JSON API, this JSON interface existed always, right? There was a time where this was also new. What did the command blocks creator think of that? I don't know. All of this boils just down to a massive skill issue. I'm gonna have to say that. Just massive skill issue.
Costly to maintain JS. It costs more. It takes more. So a studio needs higher trained people. They need more programmer level people. That costs a lot more. They compete with other game industries. They compete with other stuff. So instead,
Because it costs more. Again, JavaScript developers are just something that exists, right? It's not very specific, right? If you search for something like a Minecraft Bedrock developer, right, that does like all the JSON stuff, there's not a big pool of people that you can choose. Whereas the JavaScript people, there are a lot of fish in the sea. I used to do command blocks back then, but after learning add-ons, I don't need command blocks anymore. Exactly. Why doesn't he make this argument here? You could have just continued using command blocks and you would be fine. Yeah, me too. See? Everyone started there. Everyone started there and advanced themselves to like better stuff. That is what happened. We all went through that process. He himself probably too. It's the JavaScript thingy is only the next step, basically.
instead of getting any game devs that are coming up and this is their first job and they're getting into Bedrock and they're getting into the industry, those people aren't going to have that opportunity anymore. Those opportunities are going to be gone. Those are going to be given to programmers that are coming out of educated systems. And in my opinion, Mojang and Microsoft like that because...
No, like, hear me out. You gotta keep up with the system. Obviously, people are gonna choose the ones that knew the newer tech, right? They're not purposefully gonna choose people that are like stuck on version 1.16 because they prefer it that way. No, they wanna have the new features. They wanna have the new features and utilize them. And being like, if I would hire someone, right? I wouldn't hire someone who says, hey, I only do JSON stuff and that is why I cannot implement this and this feature. Obviously, as a CEO, as a boss, as whatever, I would hire the guy that can do the job. I would hire the guy that can do the job. It doesn't matter how you do the job and stuff. It's just that if you can do the job, you're hired. That's most of the cases, right? And if you're gonna tell me here, oh no, I cannot make chat commands because I use the system, then I'm not hiring you. It's simple. You could argue that it's like Mojang's fault for implementing the system, but no. You are the ones that are responsible for moving on with like, or keeping yourself up to date with all the mechanics, okay? That is not my responsibility as someone who is hiring. Command blocks do the same thing as add-ons, but less cool and way more limiting. Yeah, I mean, there's stuff that command blocks simply cannot do, like adding a custom item. You can get close to it by like having an existing item renamed to it, but you cannot change its texture or something like that. That's the thing about command blocks. So having the newer tech, having to learn the newer tech is something that you just have to accept. I'm sorry.
Those are the people they went to school with. Those are the people they're used to. Those are the people that are going to do the things they like and in the programming procedures they like. So it's better for Mojang, but it's worse for the community, in my opinion. Now, you could say, well, it's better for the community because more options are better. No, more options are not better. More options cause more overhead, more cost, more maintenance, more diag, more education needed, a higher bar of entry, and a whole bunch more support and documentation. So
not necessarily. Not necessarily. Like, believe me or not, but there are also shitty JavaScript people, okay? There are shitty developers that write shitty code. Okay? That does exist. And the bar of entry is not simply gonna rise because a different technique is used to accomplish the same task, okay? That's just not what's happening here. It's still cool to watch command blocks creators do stuff with command blocks that makers can do. I agree. I think seeing something that, like, I love seeing, like, command creations and stuff. It has, like, its own vibe. But, obviously, this stuff is not I'm gonna say production ready, okay? You wouldn't be able to like use those funny little silly command creations in like a real environment. I do still think they're funny and good and stuff, but there are just limits that you gotta accept. And hey, you gotta move on. You gotta move on. Anyways.
So while I agree, there are times when more is better. When you have an entry-level product like Bedrock where people are coming in for the first time, more is not better. More complexity is not better.
Also, JavaScript is quite an entry-level language, okay? It's not C++ or anything. JavaScript is quite entry-friendly. And also, again, if you have a task and you want to complete a task, you don't care how it's completed. You search up what you need to do and you do that based off that. It doesn't matter if you do it with System 1 or System 2. I cannot emphasize this enough. Like, the bar is not higher, the entry bar. It is just your capabilities of being able to look up stuff and applying it to your code base.
It's worse. It's much worse. And you see it by every person that comes in for the first time and people tell them, you got to learn JS to be able to do anything. And you just see it, how depressing it is, how high that hill is versus previously 2 years ago or 3 years ago, people would come in and say, hey, you just follow this guide and in a few hours you'll be up and going.
Why isn't that a thing with JavaScript? Like, what makes you think that this is not the same thing for JavaScript? There are plenty of guides for like JavaScript Minecraft tutorials. In fact, I can go ahead and search up Minecraft Bedrock scripting tutorial. Oh my god, what's that? It's almost like there is actually content. There are actually, oh my god, look at that. Who's that guy? Who are those two charming guys? Holy shit, man. The fact is, resources exist. And it's a new tech, obviously. And there will be more and more as we, like, continue doing this stuff, right? But that's a great thing, right? We are just experiencing the start of something. It is gonna advance. It is gonna get better over time. It's only gonna get better over time. Give it some time. Like, I was one of the first guys who made tutorials. And now look at that. Now look at all those amazing people. There is definitely tutorials. And there's definitely ways to watch them and implement them into your code. Still, you don't decide what tech you use for the job. You look what you need to do the job, and then you decide, and that the decision comes with what you need to do. Use the right tool for the right job. Sometimes command blocks can be broke if too many are like add-ons, especially scripting API. Yeah, those are just limitations of Minecraft. If you wanna do more, gotta move on. It's a reality. Sucks to suck. Accept it.
They can't do that anymore because now, oh, you got to go learn JS. So now you're talking about weeks and months of work just to get the basics, just to get the foundation. And you say, well, you can start doing stuff in JS right away in minutes. But most of the people that say that already have background or take.
When I did Minecraft Bedrock stuff, right, with JavaScript, I had no background. Zero. Nano. So, yes, it's just my experience. But I do wonder, guys, did you guys had experience prior to with JavaScript while making add-ons, right? I'm gonna make a poll, right? And then at the end of the stream, I'm gonna ask, okay? Did you had a previous experiences with JS when starting to write Minecraft Bedrock script? experiences. Yes. No. At the end of the stream, I'm just gonna see. Me Visual Studio. Yes, Visual Studio Code, you mean. I switched too, but not the tree editor. Yeah, that's fine.
Classes or have already been doing indie game dev. Go back to the very first day you started this and now think about someone telling you got to learn JS just to get started.
That's not what's happening again. You see, you want to do a feature, you look up how to do the feature, you see, oh, you need JavaScript for that, you do it. Not that hard to understand, right?
How many people are going to be pushed away? How many people aren't going to do Bedrock game dev or get in and do add-ons or get in and do mods because the bar of entry has been raised so high?
Man, if you're not willing to do something, obviously you're not gonna achieve. You gotta go in with the will that you wanna do something. You need to learn something to achieve this. Obviously, you're not gonna just have the skills out of nowhere to do it. You gotta get in there with passion, with the goal of actually achieving what you wanna do.
I think it's...
I hate the tree editor, haha. Well, I mean, I used to do the tree editor. I thought this was pretty cool, but I would be interested if I would still enjoy the tree editor. I don't really know. I didn't use the tree editor in a while. I used the normal JSON stuff. But yeah, I do agree. Like, yeah, the tree editor. I guess I wouldn't. I guess I would hate it. I think I would hate doing the tree editor. We'll see.
Insulting that the people doing and making these decisions don't seem to care about that part of the community. And I understand there's a lot of money.
Right, hold up. So I don't know why it's a big issue for him. You can learn by looking at others' code and eventually learning how they do them. To be honest, even if he doesn't have enough time to learn it, if you are seriously you should learn. Yeah, if you're seriously about a project, you will naturally just learn. That is true.
Behind it, and there's a lot of, well, this is just one small niche, but in my opinion, Bedrock is only what it is because of the add-on developers and the content we've made for Marketplace and mods and add-ons. Without the add-ons, Bedrock would be nothing. Nothing.
Alright, when I tried for the first time, it was so hard with the tree editor. Obviously, there's obviously still a bar that you have to learn, okay? You're not gonna be the best one from day one, obviously, right? I do agree with that learning something new is hard. It's not easy, definitely. Never said that. To his point though, Minecraft Bedrock wouldn't be anything without add-ons. Yeah. Minecraft Bedrock lives from its community, just like Minecraft Java. In fact, the Minecraft game itself lives from its community. The YouTubers, yeah, YouTubers are also the community, and yeah, like the whole add-ons, YouTubers, and whatever stuff is just us as a community, and you will also see that in other games that have modding support, right? Almost every game, every successful game has that concept of, hey, the community is the one keeping this game alive. I feel like. And yes, may that be through YouTubers, may that be through add-ons. Hey, who knows?
Marketplace is what's made Bedrock Bedrock. If it was just normal Java or normal Minecraft without any of the mods or any of the add-ons, none of this would have happened.
To be honest, I don't think I don't think no one gives a crap about Marketplace. I don't do Bedrock for Marketplace. Get me out of this Marketplace stuff. Me too, it was hell. It's easier to use the JSON code format. Overwhelming, yes, but the endless things you can do with those would push me to start learning add-ons. Yeah. Yeah. Hold up, I'm gonna have to. Oh well. I mean, yeah. Okay,
None of this would have taken place. And the very people that fought through and made those add-ons and made that content and made that stuff without JS are the ones that are now being pushed out of the industry and told they have to learn JS
Bro.
or they're not welcome here anymore.
But bro's talking like a war veteran, dude. I fought for this country. Blah, 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 blah. I don't really have to say anything to you. It's just kind of funny here.
Or they aren't going to be able to use blocks, or they aren't going to be able to use items, or they aren't going to be able to use all of these things that were promised to us and we've been told were coming for years and years and years, and now they say, well, we failed to be able to do it how we said we were, so instead now we're going to do JS. And
all we're saying is, if you want to do this, you have to do that. Like, if you want to accomplish a goal, you will have to fucking fly. You will have to learn the specific thing. I don't know what's wrong about that. Like, I'm gonna bring up the command block example again. If I wanna create a custom item, right? How am I gonna do that with command blocks? How you guys sit there and tell me, you could, Microsoft could just add a command for like adding custom item? No. There's obviously need for new tech. People desire new tech. People desire more options. And again, the scripting API is quite community-centered. It's the community that decided to make the scripting API great.
Watched a video of someone at Mojang saying that the only reason why we got JS is because they saw someone in China doing it in the China version and they thought, oh, that's so amazing, we got to bring that here.
Look,
no
the community
of what that does. Now, keep in mind, that was a programmer that saw someone doing JS in a game, Minecraft, in China and said, oh, we need to add that programming ability into Bedrock. No thought of...
Guys, Minecraft China is very different from our thing. And I don't know where he has that source from, but, I mean, okay, let's just go with it that it's real, right? They saw someone in China doing that and, well, wanted to bring it to Bedrock. Just for that context, Minecraft China has way more features than Minecraft Bedrock, right? They have they have so much more. They have they can make custom UIs, custom buttons on the screen, whatever. They have access to a lot. And god damn it, the fly is on my microphone. I wonder, do you guys hear the fly on the microphone? Anyways, doesn't matter. Yeah, and it's obviously that there just gotta exist some parity between Minecraft China and Minecraft Bedrock, and it's not just one guy that is like there, oh yeah, it's so great, let's add it to UI's version of Minecraft. No, it's the community that made it great. No? Okay, that's good at least.
Of barrier of entry, no thought of what this does to the game in the industry. He didn't say, oh, we should add this to Java. Yet Java is already there, ready for this. It already has that community. That community already loves this type of complexity and this type of issue.
Exists,
it's what they thrive on. The Bedrock community.
But, I mean, yes, Microsoft is obviously... It should be obvious by now that Microsoft, or like Minecraft Bedrock is Microsoft's baby, dude. Like, obviously they're gonna spend more time like with Bedrock than Java. They're not gonna spend any time making a version which they find it very hard to develop for. And you gotta remember, those are two different teams working on that, right? The Minecraft Java team is not the same as the Minecraft Bedrock team. Please remember that. Yeah, what is there else to say? Right, I mean, it's two different teams. Java already has the features. Again, they're not provided by Mojang. They're provided by the community, those features. In Java. Like, you have to decompile the game. There is no official thing in Java. Have you watched Fundy's video? About what exactly?
community doesn't, and yet we're having this shoved down our throats, kicking and screaming, and the only people typically in the community that jump in and say, "Oh, that's great," are the ones that already are doing programming and have that interest, or doing it in college, or doing it in school, or already had gotten into it because that's their interest. The rest of us, which is like 95% of us, have no care
Minecraft China? No, I didn't watch Minecraft China video.
of JS or interest in it or wanted to do it.
It doesn't matter if you have the interest or not. If you have the interest to accomplish something, you're gonna learn it regardless.
And so you have a ton of fanboys that love programming and coding and say, "Oh, it's easy, just get in and do it," because they're already doing it and getting in and doing it.
I'm not going on to this point. I explained it more than enough. Right now the right now the vote is right, 3 people no, me included. There would be 4 people that didn't had any prior knowledge to JavaScript when they started scripting. So I don't know. I wonder how he's taking that from. Was so different. I was shocked. Yeah, Minecraft China is a different thing. It's like a combination of it's based on Bedrock, but like has the capabilities of Java. Be interesting what we could do with like Minecraft China on here in yeah, not China land. Anyways,
it. They've already passed that bar. They've already got past it. They already have that brain type. They already enjoy doing it. But everybody else that doesn't enjoy doing it, or doesn't want to spend their life being a coder and just wants to make some add-ons or just wants to change some stuff in the game for their friends, is sitting back saying, "What the hell? What? Why would the entire community move?"
No, man, he's just holding a specific thing against coding, okay? And I probably think you cannot even make shit right for that, right? You won't be able to make stuff right for that. Like, if you have a stuff against coding specifically, then what am I supposed to do? What am I can tell you how much wrong you are, but if you still have that one thing, if you do not want to do it, then you're not gonna do it. It's what I'm trying to tell the whole time. Like another world. Exactly.
Move everybody just for JS. It doesn't make any sense. I have seen almost nothing.
Hold up. Now is this an app for Minecraft China that makes creating custom UIs easy? Yep, they have tools for modifying JSON UI. That's true.
From JS so far that tells me that this is the salvation of Bedrock and this is the thing that's gonna fix everything. In fact, I've seen it.
It's not gonna happen in a second. It's only now that marketplace developers are even allowed to use JavaScript, right? One thing that you guys need to know is marketplace is only allowed to use specific parts of the game, right? Excluding experimental features. Meaning that for the longest time, the marketplace wasn't even able to use JavaScript because it wasn't. There were no stable versions, only experimental. And you just gotta wait and see what people do with this stuff. And saying that the content doesn't exist that is like great and has been made with JavaScript is just straight up wrong. Like, there are a bunch of cool add-ons, bunch of cool creations with add-ons. For example, the scripting add-on jam. Did you take a look at that in the 10K, like the 10K add-on jam for the, how's it called? Bedrock add-on server? Where me, Conmaster, and other people created this thing. Insect Titans, if anyone remembers. Or also Snowdown. The Bridge Jam. Funny enough, same program that he uses right now. They made a jam and we made a scripting creation. And guess what? It was amazing. It was amazing as fuck. Just saying that there is no good content for JavaScript is just straight up wrong.
An insane amount of complexity, a same amount of help needed. The amount of help in the discords and the community help requirement just to support JS is insane.
I wonder how it's like that's the assumption, right? That why don't he just thinks that people are just only starting to do Minecraft Bedrock scripting because it's getting more popular. People thought before JavaScript wasn't a thing that modding in Bedrock didn't exist or something like that. I think that JavaScript made people realize that Bedrock does have some sort of modding and there is capabilities. And I don't know if people did like do normal Minecraft modding before JavaScript, right? But I think the high interaction doesn't come from the problems, but rather from the amount, from the quantity, okay? It's like LOL and Wild Rift when the development team was changing to China, they made a different game and better. Yeah. Wild Rift is better. What can I say?
And we're not getting any more help from Mojang. We're not getting any staff that come in and
do you have experience working on commissions in Minecraft Marketplace, if it's okay to ask? Kind of, I say. I mean, not really officially. I wasn't officially in a Marketplace team and shit, but I do think that some of my add-ons that I made as a commission ended up on the Marketplace. I do believe so. You're not allowed to use experimental toggles. That's mostly it. And I also think you're not allowed to like modify JSON UI stuff and whatever. But hey, I'm not too deep into that.
actually help people in the channels and go through. We get some documentation, but that's it. We had some documentation before. So
give people time. And to be honest, hold up. wiki.minecraft.bedrock.dev. wiki.bedrock.dev, right? This is a community effort, okay? When you go into literally anything here, let's scroll down. Okay, there. Contributors, those are people, okay? This is the community creating this documentation. This isn't Microsoft that made this documentation. The thing that you probably use the most, okay? There are not many people using learn.microsoft.com or used it beforehand. Obviously, scripting made some people use the documentation here, but the tutorials, the guides on here, right? Most of the people were probably on this side. This is completely community driven, okay? But this is community driven. The wiki.bedrock.dev is completely community driven. So why not just give the JavaScript developers time and make also those great tutorials here? In fact, if you go here, there is a tab for scripting and it's filling up. There's gonna be all those things here. And it's funny that you talk about complexity while, you know, there's just so much more into like JSON stuff than scripting. Because once you know scripting, you know everything, okay? I also learn here JLead Dev GitHub, and then from there. Well, yeah, I mean, that's also a community effort, right? JLead is just your scripter, right? He's your average scripter. Okay, not average. He's a little bit. He's above average scripter, right? That made all that stuff possible. So there is definitely a community effort also behind the JavaScript modding.
So all of a sudden now the barrier to supporting the community is 10x. The demand for overhead and diag support.
Yeah, so the demand for I'd say that the general demand for like a scripting API is higher, okay? Like for like a modding API basically. I would say that the general demand is higher. I don't think that people were just, you know, I think that scripting made many people go like do Minecraft stuff. I have no way of confirming it, obviously, but I do think scripting and its velocity is rapidly going up, and it's not going back.
Or is 10x. No extra help from Mojang. No extra help from anywhere else. The community.
No extra help from Mojang. That's just wrong. I mean, community efforts, I just showed, right? But Mojang themselves, they have amazing guides. They have amazing guides. So I don't know what he's talking about. Even wait, let me try to find what Jaylee has been mentioning. Right, because we have like a little Discord, okay. Let's see if I can find it, because it's it was a bit ago, right? I'm not really sure if this is, or if that was inside of here, but oh yeah. I don't know how much I can leak, right? So you guys know that what's that? I need your help. I have the Microsoft Docs team as my competitor, right? I think that means as much as that the Microsoft team is actively working on making scripting a better place. Okay? They are creating examples. They're actively working on making it better. So, I don't know, man. Me too, Jay. You don't even know that exists? Yeah. I'd say so. Like, yeah. I don't also think that he knows that exists.
Community's just supposed to bend over and take it and support all of this overhead. And what do we get out of it? Oh, it can do more. Well, what more can it do? Oh, it could rotate blocks. Oh, it could do this code in the background. It's gonna be really cool someday. Meanwhile, we get very little showing us anything actually being done. Every time I say, hey, I'm struggling.
No, man, that's like, you're just not looking for it, to be honest. There's a lot of awesome things in the scripting API, and if you look enough, you're gonna find a lot.
With this, what's the solution? Oh, it's JS. It's JS. You got to do JS. Okay, well, how does that work? Show me the solution. Oh, you can't do it yet. Oh, it doesn't work.
Obviously, like, if someone goes there and says, hey, how do I do this? And then, hey, you probably need to use the JavaScript API, right? You're not gonna go from 1 to 100 and be able to do it, right? He has that mind that he already knows about, like, how to do stuff in Bedrock. If he thinks of a problem, he thinks in the JSON solution, and getting to the point where you can think in JavaScript, basically, is quite difficult, and you need to learn that. And no, not learning by reading some textbooks or getting taught by someone, or with tutorials. You have to experiment, fuck around, and find out. If you don't do that, I'm sorry. I wish I had the Kegwe meme right now. Kegw. There you go. There you go. There's your Kegwe. Kegw.
Oh, that won't work for that. I've yet to find very many solutions where JS actually solves anything today. 90%.
Try to read chat input. Try to store large amounts of data between workloads. Try to figure out when a player breaks a block. Try to figure out, in fact, try to figure out when a pressure plate pops, or a tripwire triggers, or the weather changes, or a lever is being used. And that is general, or like, even better, before events, right? Try to figure out with your JSON APIs how you can cancel an effect being added, how you can cancel an entity being removed, how you can cancel an explosion from happening for a creeper, for example, how you can stop people from using items. I want to see that happening. Maybe you're not aware of the features. You clearly lack the capabilities, the functions, the thing that scripting even has to offer. Which is why what the comments are also saying, right? That's going a bit too far. We all have different brains. Some are some brains are stupid. I love this. Where was the comment? No, but there was some comment about like he lacking understanding or something like that. Doesn't really matter now. Next month we will officially release custom components. Exactly, and guess what? Marketplace developers will use that 100%. They just need it to be stable. And hey, maybe Marketplace will now then be the thing that gives him that final bit. That will tell him, hey, I need to do that. That is possible with scripting API. Oh, that's so cool. He just needs that one point. Then, yeah. Maybe he's gonna try that as well.
Percent of the time they say, well, it will solve something in the future because it can do more. Well, it's the same thing as Idiocracy saying electrolytes. Why do we do JS? Because it has electrolytes. Because it can do more. It can do more! I don't want more. I don't need more. You know what I really want? Is the promises of blocks and items to work correctly like they were told to us.
Well, you act like it's not gonna work if you use JavaScript, you know. But hey, maybe you cannot do something, right? Or maybe all of the things that Minecraft provides are enough for you. But that's surely not the case for everyone, okay? There are people out there that need specific things, like canceling chat messages for a mute system for their server or something like that. Right? Why is it now suddenly a bad decision to not allow those people to do that stuff? Because you don't want to? Well, what can I say?
And 1.14 and 1.16 they would be. We're 1.21 and we still don't have functional blocks. We don't have interactive blocks. We don't have interactive, items.
We do! We do! I don't know what...
Items are still in a shit state. We have to use BPACs to do most things.
No! That's just so wrong. That's just fundamentally so wrong, and that shows that he hasn't spent enough time to go with the scripting API. You can test when a player uses something on the block and stuff. What does he think is the scripting API doing? Like, he's just... I mean, I'm sorry for getting outraged and stuff, but he's just clearly lacking the understanding of, of knowing the game. Of knowing the scripting API.
Or scripting to solve it, which most of the time scripting still doesn't seem to solve it. It just causes more issues and more complexity. Now, I'm sure there's some great, unique things that JS is just phenomenal at, but I would challenge that we didn't need those in Bedrock in the first place. And the only people...
Why? Why don't we need good stuff in Bedrock? I mean, why don't we need new features in Bedrock? Like, why is it supposed to be the exact same game that it was a few years ago? People want updates. That's just a fact. People want new mobs. People just want new stuff. Removing old stuff, okay, it's kind of weird, but there's just something about moving on, okay, that you just need to accept. Like, if you want to have new features, you gotta accept new tools. Use the right tool for the job. I can't emphasize this even more.
People that want those in Bedrock are programmers that want to program. Not Minecrafties that want to add stuff to the game, or indie game devs that just want to build new stuff and content.
You can still do it.
It seems more like programmers that just want to program, and everything is programmer to them. To give you some...
No. I mean, again, you try to find... You have a goal. You set yourself the goal. You look how to do that goal. Oh, I need to add this type of code, you add the code. It's not like, oh, I need to code and then I can do this feature. No, it's, I want to do this feature. How do I do that? Oh, I need to code. Let's go. It's just the experience that he's lacking, really.
Some background, I grew up with programmers. So many of the members of my family are hardcore crypto and cypherpunks and
Cypherpunk.
everything from C++ to C# to Python to all of the other fun ones that are out there these days. And that's what they've told me my whole life. Just learn the code. Just learn the code. Just learn Java. Just.
I mean, to be fair though, the programming community loves talking about, the programming community loves about how great the tools are. Obviously, if you create something, you want to showcase what it is. And it's kind of funny because he himself loves to do that as well, just like with his creation. In fact, well, let me see. Let me check. Okay, no. Right now it's not the case, but often he like sits in voice calls just streaming his work while, I don't know, sleeping or something like that, just to be able to showcase his work off. And while you might think, oh yeah, people are gonna see my stuff and find it cool, some people might find it annoying just like you do with, accepting scripting as it is. A thing, I'll use it in Minecraft definition. Just complaining and complaining. The scripting API is major useful for Bedrock add-ons, saved me many times. Yeah, and that's not, that's the reason why it's so popular, and that's the reason why it will remain popular. I don't know. If the community wants it, Microsoft is gonna obviously invest more into it. So, yeah. I don't know, it's really the community that drives the scripting API forward. So I know what, well, let's see what he has to say further.
Learn, just learn it. Just do it. It's easy. Just get in there and learn some coding. Just learn the code. Learn.
Again, it's obviously, the scripters are kind of annoying. Yeah, well, we can do that, it's so cool and stuff. Obviously, we want to showcase our work. And he wants to showcase his work as well. Like, again, he's sitting in voice calls, sometimes streaming his work. He wants to showcase his work. We want to showcase his work. Just fair.
Learn the code. Just learn to be a programmer. So once again, I went to a professional doctor. I took their tests, and their tests say I would not be a good programmer.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure some doctor told you, yeah, you wouldn't be able to program. No, that's bullshit. That's absolute bullshit. Like, yes, you might be diagnosed with autism and stuff, right? But that's not stopping you from creating anything. In fact, you are still creating perfectly fine with that diagnosis. You already look around, look at your screen. You all made that while having presumably autism or whatever he diagnosed you with. Scripting API is very, especially for marketplace partners.
Their test said I wouldn't do good at math and English because of the syntax and the memorization.
And why is he like trying to stop himself from like creating something? Like, why does he let something like this get to him? Just do it. I know, it sounds goddamn stupid, and oh no, I cannot do it. But if you keep telling yourself you cannot do it, then obviously you won't be able to make it. And going off that presumption is just, if I would live my way like that, I would have a lot of problems. To be fair, when the API came out, it was also terrifying of use by once got as the basics become missing with it's like a second nature. Yeah, I mean, I never said it was easy. It will always have some depth to it. Nothing will be easy the first time you learn it. We had people before talking about they struggling to use Bridges tree editor. Obviously, if you're new to something, you're gonna have to learn. You're gonna have to struggle. You're gonna have to experience. And that's not something bad. That's something good.
Required to pass it and get through school. So then to tell me, hey, we all have to be programmers to do game development is insane, because look at what I'm doing. I'm doing it with no programming.
Again, personally, I would say that doing the JSON stuff is also programming. Like, at the point, like, JSON itself is obviously not a programming language, right? But at the point where you're managing state, goddamn Molang, and logic inside of JSON, you are programming, if you want it or not.
30 years I've been told you can't do game development, you can't make stuff unless you're a programmer. Well, look, I'm doing it. I've proven them all wrong. I've proven they're all full of shit. You can see it. You've seen it in all my guides. You've seen it in all my content. I'm doing stuff that most people can't dream of, and I'm doing it with no JS, no coding. I'm doing it all in Bridge, and I'm doing it all in Stable.
That's great, but why do we have to shoot against people that are just trying to live their lives with their code, with their solutions, right? With their ways of solving problems. Again, if you are comfortable with the tool, that's fine. But you cannot just say only because the tools are necessary for you, Microsoft should just listen for you. No, there are some things that people want, something that you cannot do with the tools that are currently there. So I think there is a right for those tools to exist. Only because you don't need them doesn't mean that others do not.
So why would I waste my time learning JS, for one? Why would I do something that I know that I'm set up to fail at because my brain isn't built for?
No, because your brain keeps telling you that you are the problem.
For it.
That's the real issue here.
That doesn't seem logical. And for everybody else that doesn't understand how people's brains work and how different we are, to keep telling us, you gotta learn JS, you gotta do JS, you gotta learn JS, you gotta do that, you're stupid if you don't learn JS. JS is so easy. It's so easy, just do it. Those people make me feel stupid and like a moron.
I feel like this gotta be like some kind of rage bait, right? I mean, look, you asked for a thing on how you can accomplish that thing. You got an answer. Hey, you probably need to use a scripting API doing this and this. You said, I don't want to do it. Then what do you expect people to say? I don't know, I feel like this whole video is just massively rage bait. Like, we're not forcing you to do stuff. But when you come there and ask, hey, how do I do that? And people say to you, oh, you need to use scripting API. And you say, no, I hate scripting, I can't do that. What do you think you're gonna do? And making you sad, or like making you not feel intelligent, a little bit of imposter syndrome, right? Just, that's a real thing. That is a real problem that also us programmers, scripters see. Imposter syndrome is something that everyone experiences, okay? Being able to, or thinking that you're not good enough, thinking that like you cannot do anything, thinking that you're in the wrong place. Even us scripters experience that. And, well, you just need to reflect on what you've already done, what you can do. And, I don't know, maybe then you can beat your imposter syndrome. He doesn't know the word passion? I'm sure he does. I'm sure he does the word passion. But it's just, he aims at a different thing, right? Like, look at what he has created. I bet there is some kind of passion in that. But you should also leave room for, like, scripting to have passion, right? If you want to do something, you can also put a little bit of passion into scripting. If you really want to do that. Anyway, let's continue.
Now, look at everything I've made and created. Do you think I'm a stupid moron?
Again. No. That's not my point.
But the people that only believe JSON, JS, JSON programming, coding is the answer, make the rest of us, which is like 80% of the community.
It's funny because at the same time he says that like the community is 80% that doesn't script, right? He's saying that 80% of the community that doesn't script is being offended. But at the same time he's saying that there is a very high velocity like for scripting, that many people script, which is weird. Like that doesn't go kind of in. The fact is, most of the people, the majority of the people, have tried scripting and are maybe using it. The majority is not the people that use blocks anymore. Yes, a couple years ago, 1 or 2 years ago, scripting used to be a toy, okay? It used to be, oh, you do scripting, that's interesting. But now it's like, yeah, oh, you do scripting, me too. Like, it's way bigger than you think. And I don't know, I feel like you need to be aware of that.
Feel stupid.
We are not purposefully trying to make him stupid, right? I mean, if he asks for how can I do that and that, we say with scripting, and he says I don't want to learn scripting, then what are we supposed to do? If it's gonna make him feel stupid, then well, I don't know. Is it our fault?
They keep
I think like that's kind of a brain issue, okay? I'm sorry, but like kind of brain issue.
telling us to climb a ladder, but we're fish. Now, you might be a monkey, you might be something that can climb that ladder, and good for you. But
yeah, I get that. Like that analogy is always used often in like school and stuff. Quite funny to use that here. But it's not like he's a fish. Like one to one from me to Outer Cloud or Outland. Sorry, Outer Cloud. That's a completely different person. From 1 to 1 from me to Outlandish Craft. Okay, I am saying this. I'm making this video because I do think that you can do it. I see the stuff that you make, and hey, even if you wanna deny it, even if you're in big denial, I do see that you are able to make it. Why? Because you made similar stuff back then. And, or like, you make similar stuff right now. And I'm not here saying that you are supposed to use it if you're comfortable with using other tools and stuff. But, like, come on, there is obviously a wider range of the community, and it just gotta be accepted. An example of something the scripting area is useful is bypassing the limitation of JSON. Like an example being able to attach use to items and item lore which can't be done in JSON. Yeah, there are just some things that you can only do in scripting API. And some people need to use the scripting API. Maybe not you, and that's fine. You can continue doing your stuff. But maybe there's a feature that is only possible with scripting API, and we tell you that it's only possible with scripting API. Well, I don't know, man. Can deny it all you want, but that won't help you here.
But for you to tell the fish in the water swimming around having a good time that they're stupid and they're morons and it's easy and they should just be able to do it, why can't you as a fish climb this ladder? It shows.
Again, I do not think that he has the inability to learn code. Like, I look at the stuff that he made and I see, yeah, he probably could do coding if he probably could code if he wanted to. But let's assume that's like actually the case, that there's like no way for him to learn scripting, right? Then why would that be our problem? Why is it... Hold up, guys. Well, I got the fly trapped, I think. Nice. Yeah. If you can do it, why should everyone else like suffer from you not being able to code, right? Why shouldn't the scripting API exist anymore only because you cannot grasp the concepts of it? I know it's kind of weird to understand, but the world doesn't evolve around one person. Lobby set a loot table, but scripting API is more convenient. Yes, there are some funny solutions to set up, but there are also things that you can only do in scripting API. I know where you're getting with this, okay? I do get where you're trying to get with that.
That you're ignorant that we're different.
I think he has just gotten a bad impression from other scripters, which is like doing like this. Yes, I think he got annoyed with it, and now he wants to not learn it anymore. I also experienced something like that very similar when like my friends tell me something about how great a game is, right? Maybe I considered playing that game before, but now because everyone's telling about it, I don't feel like playing that game anymore. In fact, Minecraft, right? I used to hate Minecraft when I was in not kindergarten, like in first grade or something like that. Why? Because I didn't try it. I was like, oh my god, everyone's talking about it. Please stop annoying me. And guess what? Now I'm sitting here doing Minecraft every day. It's crazy how things change when you view them from a different perspective.
I'm a fish, you're a monkey. Telling me as a fish to climb a ladder or swing a branch makes me feel stupid. How about you come swim in the water for 30 minutes and see how you do when you drown, you motherfucker? See the problem? The small, minute people programmers have this elitism that they're better than everybody else.
Yep, and that I don't think that it's that elitism is just. I think it's really just that making him not want to do it. Like, I don't think it's anything else. I think it's just us being annoying. I'm gonna be honest. I think he's just so annoyed that he isn't even willing to try it. Like, he isn't even willing to try the ladder, okay? Like, he is a fish. You guys know that bouncy fishies that like can bounce off the water, right? They're like fish that like can bounce really high heights, right? And he's like that one fish that can bounce and could theoretically bounce on top of the ladder, but he's just never trying it out. So that's why he's stuck in the waters.
If you don't learn programming, you're
It's
not
called
as
flying
good as
fish,
they
I think,
are.
right?
And I've dealt with that my whole life, and it's disgusting. And we see it in this community a lot. Just learn JSON, it's so easy. Just learn JS, it's so easy. TypeScript, so easy. Why are you
I
complaining?
hate TypeScript.
We're complaining because
Our friends here, the real bros use JS stock, guys. Real bros use JS stock. No, joke. I'm obviously just joking.
our brains don't work that way. And it's a struggle for us, and it's setting us up for failure. And you don't seem to care.
I mean, he isn't even trying. Look, my problem is that he isn't even trying because someone told him that he's not supposed to try. Like, that's just... It just seems weird to me. As a flying fish, you haven't even tried to climb the ladder or maybe jump over the ladder. Find different solutions to fix your problem. It's getting more annoying. I mean, yeah, that's, it's called rage bait, yeah? Oh, shit! I just spilled something over my keyboard. Okay, guys, it wasn't a lot, so I can just clean it with... Okay, I can still play the video.
That's why we're complaining. In my opinion, that's an abusive relationship. But I've stopped complaining and saying anything because the mob that is this community is so toxic that if you speak out and say anything, all of a sudden you hate Mojang and you hate all their staff and you're an evil bigot and you're trying to bash them and you're harassing them. I did.
To be fair, you did just say like 10 minutes ago that like Mojang is corrupt and trying to like raise the bars for like marketplace creators so they don't get in the program. So I mean, hey, you're literally doing that. I'm sorry, man.
Didn't change the system. I've been here. You guys came in and you guys changed it from underneath us. You didn't ask. You didn't get the community involved. You
Of course they
failed
did.
at what you were doing.
No, most of the people wanted scripting. He simply needs help getting out of the comfort zone and helps him understand and be patient with him. And he also needs to stop letting others put limitations on him. That's great. That's a really great statement. And well, scripting is a gift. Exactly. Like, the scripting API only advanced because we as a community wanted to. If we didn't want scripting API to become a thing, there would be still game tests today. Only for like marketplace developers that wanted to test if their add-on works or not. But no. We used game test and made it scripting API.
You told us we would have. You failed. And then you pivoted to something else completely different than what you promised and what you had said you were going to do. And then you wonder why we're upset. And the
I'm not upset.
community,
You're
the
upset.
10%ers, the cultists jump behind you and say, "Oh, it's so easy. We all got to be programmers." But most of them are already in coding classes or in college.
Okay, to be fair though, my poll, right, it's a bit more updated. It now has 13 votes. Did you had previous experience with JavaScript when starting to write Minecraft Bedrock scripts? 62% excluding me voted yes, or like I'm on the no side. So that means, yes, I guess people had experience with JavaScript before, like writing scripting API. But that surely doesn't mean that you cannot be those 30% who can, you know, do it without scripting. Or like without having prior knowledge, rather, right? You can definitely start coding without knowledge. And no, you don't need to watch a 10-hour JavaScript tutorial. I didn't do it. I just sat there, looked at examples, tried out, and found out. Just think of how advanced Java is because of being able to utilize the game's code and manipulate it. Yeah, I mean, working closer to the game code is always good. I mean, yes, obviously, you might tend to want to have an abstraction, right? But that's what's good about coding. You make basically your own abstraction. You can make the thing that makes it very comfortable for you to use. Like, yeah. That's what I'm trying to say.
Doing it. They're not a 10-year-old kid. They're not a 40-year-old guy. They're not even in the ballpark of the demo. So it doesn't make sense to
Scripting is for every
say,
age.
well, for this 10%, we're going to dump the rest of the community and force everybody to step up to JS.
It's not 10%.
They can do more. Everybody has to go learn a backhoe. Everybody has to know how to maintain the backhoe.
You don't have
Everybody has to be able to diag it.
You can continue using the old systems. And yes, they did remove like some events and stuff, right? But that was more because of separation of concerns thing. You have logic in one part of the thing and how is it called? Definition or like, yeah, like the structure in the other code. Like kind of like HTML being one file and JavaScript being one file, right? Separation of concerns. It's bullshit. It's questionable. But I see the reason why Microsoft would want to do that. Okay? And no, it's definitely not to harm the community, okay? I mean, it is kind of weird if you think about it. In the file, that where you say how the item is supposed to be named, right? Also on what the item is supposed to do. If you like think about it, it is kind of weird. But separation of concerns is a big lie, and hey, maybe they shouldn't have removed the features, right? The events from items and blocks. You could argue about that. Many people love to use them. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. I had no experience with JavaScript or TypeScript. I just looked at examples and common things and began experimenting from there. Yeah, that's exactly what I did. That's exactly what I did. Those are apparently the 30%, and guess what? Anyone could be those 30%.
Just to dig a hole now. No more shovels. You gotta learn the backhoe, and if you can't learn the backhoe as a 10-year-old,
Again, you need to advance with the system, okay? You cannot just expect everything to be the same. You need to move along with the system. Not everything's just gonna be the same, okay? Things are gonna change. It's tough. I get it.
then Bedrock isn't the place for you and you're not welcome here, is what I hear. When they say, JS is so easy, just do it, just learn it, just learn JSON, just learn.
Rage bait again, I think. Again, I do think that we're kind of annoying. But like, hey, I mean, if you're asking for something, and people answer you that you're supposed to do it that way, I don't know, man. Why are you upset about that?
JS. Well, I haven't learned JSON, so how the hell am I going to learn?
You have learned JSON. You did learn JSON with like your JSON tree thingy. That is literally JSON. I can't emphasize this enough. It is 100% JSON. JSON trees is just modifying JSON. You might not know the exact vocabulary, okay? But I bet people that are boss coming in the industry don't even know the vocabulary as well. Like, you don't know what a key value pair is, you don't know what an object is, you don't know what an array is, right? You don't need to know that. You have a structure in your brain, and you know how to do it. And you probably have your own name for that. And that's not a bad thing. It's completely fine.
Learn JS.
So you know JSON. You just don't want to admit it, basically. Or maybe you don't know that you know JSON.
I haven't been able to. I've tried. It doesn't work for me. I can't remember the syntax.
Alright, so here it goes. He has tried it. That was really, I think that was really the first time that we, heard that. Actually, no. If he's talking about like JSON, that he like tried to do JSON at his start of the thingy and Bridge was so much easier, yes. At the start, something like Bridge might seem compelling, but it's about advancing, right? You can start off with Bridge and then move on to like normal JSON stuff and Blockception, VS Code, whatever. Maybe you didn't know that certain tools existed to make the job easier. Like, hey, you had problems with writing pure JSON code, so you use Bridge, which had a tree editor for JSON. You know? Things like that also exist for a scripting API, and only because you didn't know that those thingies existed doesn't mean that you're incapable of doing that. You know?
When I try to do it and I try to use it with VS Code or a specific coding program, not Bridge, my failure rate skyrockets and I spend all day
good.
just diagging code.
And that's good, because that's how you learn. And guess what? With Bridge, you also had to fail a lot to get to the point where you're at. No one's perfect. No one's gonna write perfect code the first try. You have to fail.
Versus when I use Bridge and I do no code, I have a failure rate of 0.1 and I can do all these things and I spend all my day just making wonderful things and I spend none of my day.
I mean, I simply don't believe it that he is not making any mistakes while like coding and stuff, or like inaccuracies. I simply don't believe it. Okay, JSON is JavaScript object notation. Yep, and actually, wait until you find out what JSON stands for. My comment. Isn't it funny?
Day doing coding diag. Doesn't that sound like a much better lifestyle? Well, for me it is. And so the more Mojang and Microsoft shove coding and raise the bar for Bedrock, the less I'm gonna do Bedrock. I would rather go do Unreal Engine 5. If you're gonna make me do this complexity and do this level of stuff, why would I do it in Bedrock? Why?
Well, as I said, it's community, the community effort, the people, the different devices that you can target. And hey, man, if you want to do some Unreal Engine, go ahead. I mean, they have blueprints. You like blueprints? Go ahead, do blueprints. Go be a visual programmer. Which, by the way, you're already doing. Dude, this fly is really annoying me. Holy shit. It's attacking me, dude. Nope, didn't got it. Oh well. So yeah, I mean, what is the reason that he's keep doing Bedrock? Keep doing Bedrock stuff, right? Is it is it just Bridge that keeps him doing Bedrock? Please stop being so annoying. And it's also always landing on my skin. Can you just move somewhere else? Way harder to catch than mosquitoes, I must admit.
If I want more, then I want a lot more. And JS does not give us enough to bridge the difference between a real full game engine and Bedrock with JS.
Wait, so because okay, JavaScript is bad because it's not enough, or what? I don't know, man. I'm not buying the take. You're complaining about it being too much, too difficult to get in, but now you're saying, hey, I either want nothing or full, right? Why? You're never gonna be able to do everything. Like, you're gonna have, if you wanna specifically do something for Minecraft, you're gonna have to have some kind of abstraction to it. This is not Java where you can modify the code. This is from Microsoft provided, okay? Microsoft provides us with the API to interact with the game. You're not making your own game, but you're making your game inside a game. It's kind of different, and that's also kind of the art of it. I mean, no one is forcing him to do anything besides he can move to Java and just things like them, like MC Creator. Yeah. Like, he can do visual programming in Java as well. Don't have to be Bedrock if that's what he's aiming for. At this point, bro, just either playing vanilla or play another game.
It doesn't make any logical sense. The only people that benefit out of adding JS to Bedrock is Mojang and the professional programmers that work.
No! How come? From where's that statement? We as a community benefit a lot from JavaScript, from having an abstraction that isn't that cancerous, like writing pure C++, DLL functions, whatever, but still provides us like with an okay set of features. I know many people would want more features from the scripting API, but let's just try to make that, right? Let's make Mojang aware of what we want, custom commands, and make him do that. And by the way, custom commands. Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything about that.
There, not the community. The community would have benefited a lot more from having logical blocks that worked just like entities and have.
Guess what? Coding is also just logic. And no, syntax is. I know he likes to think that coding is just syntax, but it's the exact opposite. Coding is just logic. Syntax is something that you can look up. Logic, problem solving, that's the thing that you need in the brain, okay?
Having items that had components in it and having a component event component group system just like we have in entities and everywhere else in Bedrock.
That's
in
a concept.
Opinion,
That's a concept. At the start of the of the thingy, he said something about like concepts, right? But he doesn't want to learn concepts. Well, you just learned a concept about components, component groups, events, whatever. That's a concept. Guess what? Concepts also exist for scripting and especially JavaScript. They will just appear out of nowhere as you go with scripting. It's not like you have to learn them all one by one before you can do scripting. No, you learn them while you're doing scripting. I wonder he got making these cool things without scripting. Well, yeah, he's very proficient with that thing, and now as his stuff is like getting out of date, right? Mojang's adding new stuff, he obviously gets upset about that. I kind of understand it. I kind of get
Experience
it.
with 80,000 help posts and 300 guide videos doing this for 4 years, almost every day. I believe JS is a toxic add to the industry and the ecosystem, and the better solution for the ecosystem and the creators, 90%
Agree to
of them,
disagree.
not the 10% coders or programmers or those people that enjoy
We are
it,
not the 10%.
but the 90% that are actually the creators and gamers and people that are out there adding stuff to their game would have been to continue on what they were doing that they failed at and put in events and components and component groups back into blocks and back into items where they were. They were working fine. The they failed piece of it sounds more like the programmers didn't want to support it and do it how the game was created.
No, they just want to move on. That's it. They just want to add more features. And I don't see what's wrong with that. They just want to move on with it. And maybe they accepted that it was a failure. You know? Maybe they saw that people enjoy doing the scripting more than this JSON stuff. Because we as the scripting community were very loud. We stated our opinions. We know that scripting is awesome. We knew it, okay? Maybe, you know, maybe it was actually the community that wanted this. You know, there is a crazy theory. I really would like Mojang to simply simplify JSON UI and making my brain watching tutorials on it. Yeah, I also really want to learn JSON UI, but it always hurts my brain. Again, it's also just concepts that you guys gotta learn. And yes, JSON UI is one of the more difficult concepts. Doesn't mean that you guys can't do it. And by the way, all UI will come, right? All UI will be implemented. All UI is just React, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And guess what? When when JSON UI is deprecated, how is he gonna do his JSON UI? I think at this point he's just not gonna be able to be able to continue doing Minecraft Bedrock stuff. If he really is going with his ideology, right? I'm sorry, but you just gotta adapt. You just gotta adapt. I don't know.
They want it to be a programmer language and easy for programmers to maintain and manage. I don't believe that pushing that level of requirement and bar on the community is healthy for the community or healthy for Bedrock. I think it's it's a bad choice and a bad move for Bedrock. So saying that, that's my opinion of why I believe those were bad choices. How I personally have been affected by the choices and how I think that they have damaged what we are able to do. We're able to do less today in the regular system without JS. So without taking that leap into JS, we can do less than we could before. I think that's a major issue that has been skipped over. Game test was also something in there they promised that also failed and has now been converted into, oh, it's full JS and we're going to go do full scripting. We're going to do
Game test did fail? What do you mean game test failed? No, it became scripting API.
full APIs. If they really believed APIs were the correct solution for Bedrock, then why don't we have DX12 APIs?
Because it's just a too big abstraction. Hey, if you want render APIs, then go ahead, tell Mojang, are they gonna implement it? No. Why? Because the majority of the community just doesn't care about the DX12 APIs, okay? And hey, if you wanna do something with rendering, go ahead, do something with shaders. We have access to shaders. Why aren't you talking about shaders? But your render APIs, right? I mean, also JavaScript is not really the language that you should be asking for render APIs for, you know. But if you don't move forward and keep looking at the past, you'll be left behind. So impressive, adapt, overcome. Improvise, adapt, and overcome. Yep. Oh, dude, my leg. Whoa. Whoa, my leg is starting to hurt. What? Hold up. I mean, humans are good at adapting if it's required. So maybe he just needs to lose Jason and Jason, you have to help him. I mean, I mean, do you really think that forcing him to do that stuff will help? I mean, if he will always hold a grudge against that, he will have no enjoyment of creating content for Bedrock Edition anymore, and that's kind of sad to see, you know. But yeah, I'm not. I don't think that we like can convince anyone here to do whatever, right? It's just, I don't know. It's at the end of this day is his decision if he wants to move with everyone else or if he wants to stay in his hole. But what can I say? If you're gonna downplay yourself that much, then I don't know, bro. But might be a you issue.
Allowed. Why are they blocking RTX APIs? Why are they
blocking RTX APIs? Well, to be honest, I'm not really deep into the rendering stuff and stuff, but I think that shaders can do that, right? Shaders can indeed interact with RTX APIs. Well, not directly, right? Probably an abstraction, GSLL or shaders or whatever. Honestly, I don't even know. I don't know what I'm talking about. But I don't know. He probably knows it better. He surely knows what he's talking about.
Blocking the GFX system APIs. If adding APIs and scripting and more
again, it's just not what the majority wants.
Ability into the system is better for the community, then why are you blocking it for the graphics engine and for, say, scripting engines and for adding graphic or the GFX side of it?
And look, dude, you cannot expect like everything to drop, right? They cannot give you access to anything as well. Like, it is at the end of the day an abstraction which is supposed to make things easier. We're not trying to overwhelm the community here, right?
It doesn't add up on the same side. So if truly you believe API access and adding programming into Bedrock is the best thing for the community and for the ecosystem, then logically you need to do that for all of it. And make it a real game engine with API and scripting access at every point.
Why? Well, where does it come from? Where does this all or nothing thingy come from? Why do they have to give us full control of their game? Why? Because it's then because there's then no point to, I don't understand it. Where does this all or nothing take come from? I genuinely don't understand it. Guys, help me out. Where does this take come from? This all or nothing take. Let me try to think about it. Like, Windows, like, things are closed source for a reason. Right? Windows isn't open source. Still, you can. Still, Windows provides you a lot of tools to like modify the system, right? Like things are closed source for a reason. Obviously, we're developers. We love open source and stuff, but I we also have to accept that there are just some areas that are better for being held private. For example, recent drama, PDB files, right? Microsoft removed them because security issues. Well, I do think that argument is bullshit. It is technically something that you have to consider. Minecraft isn't open source. Minecraft is still owned by a big corporate company that is there to make money. Right? You have to realize that. They cannot just give away their whole game just because, hey, it's all or nothing, right? Just give away parts of it so people can be happy, they can create amazing stuff that promotes the game while not completely making it not Minecraft anymore. Right? And yeah, then people are happy.
But instead, it's going to be just here and there and just here and there and just here and there and just picked and you know, these and not that, and it's not going to be...
Might as well just switch to Linux at that point. Why you still using Windows when you can't even disable Cortana, mate? Well, why doesn't give us Windows the ability to disable Cortana, mate? That's so weird. Switch to Linux. Linux is so much better. Oh my god, I use Arch, by the way. Yeah, no, that just doesn't work like that.
More is better. It's going to be a selective system of what these few things are better. So I don't think that's a good industry or ecosystem for Bedrock. I think
don't
Bedrock's
use Arch, by the way.
key benefit above all other games is that its entry to be able to mod and do add-ons was so easy an 8-year-old could do it.
Maybe. But hey, the target audience is also 8-year-old people. And that's the thing that amazes me about Bedrock. Everyone plays Bedrock. I would even go so far to say that Bedrock might have more players than Java. I mean, it's true. What can I say? I believe that you can use the RTX for ray tracing as a compatibility since also Microsoft documentation for add-ons in the compatibility section in the manifest.json docs. Yeah, I also think that you can do the RTX stuff. So I don't know what especially was he talking about there. But yeah. Okay, well, what can I say?
That's changed, and I think that that's bad for the ecosystem. So, back to the original. We're almost at 40 minutes. My brain doesn't function the same as, I guess, most people or yours. Or I hate to say most people because I think the numbers are about 40% of people have the same type of issues. And so I think that there's a good percentage of the population that will not be able to...
Do I need to, like, re-emphasize my points? By the way, I think everyone can learn coding. Look at Primeagen, for example, okay? I think, I don't know if you guys know Primeagen, but he's like a YouTuber who does, like, YouTuber, streamer, whatever, ex-Netflix employee, right? He was a meth addict. Until he discovered coding, basically. He didn't thought he could code. He thought he was one of those people that just can do it. And now he sits there using Linux, has an ergonomic chair and keyboard, and says, I use Vim, by the way. So, I don't know. Literally anyone can learn coding. It's... I don't know, man. Some might do it better, some might do it worse. Some might have the better... some might do it better, some might do it worse. So, I don't know, man. I would, like, if I would say now that I do think that he can, like, code, right? I would basically feed into his point, saying that, oh no, everyone's saying that I can code, but I actually can't. Now, I think he didn't even try to do it, right? He didn't even try it out, and that is why he is so. And also, actually he did say that he did try it out, but I think that was not really fair, as he did say it was, as I do think it was like at the very beginning, where he talked about like JSON, and how Bridge was so much better, only because he lacked the knowledge. And that's something that you can improve. It's, again, not a very easy topic. Convincing someone that thinks otherwise, basically rewiring how they think about stuff. That's not something that you can do, right? You gotta convince them somehow that they're not that stupid that other people might tell them. I mean, again, we realized throughout this whole video that he is mostly upset because of the community and because he apparently was diagnosed with something, and now he doesn't even want to try to do stuff. I think that's the problem. I think if he would like really sit down and try to do something, that it would like actually work out. Because there are so many variations of coding. It's your own style, essentially, that you're making. If you don't understand it that way, make it the other way. And believe it or not, you code as well when you do JSON, Molang, and whatever you do with like the entity events command block stuff. That's also a form of coding. Even though JSON is just a way to represent static data. Right. I have said more things about it in the rest of this almost 3-hour stream, so yeah, if you guys want to hear more about what I have to say, just you can always go back. I'll leave this VOD up, so that's not a problem. I mean, it's easy to talk my points off again by just saying, yeah, no, but I can't do it. You can tell me how much I want, I won't be able to do it. But again, I think there's just a certain grudges being held against just even trying it, you know? It was hard to use the scripting API with Bridge because there was no template, but thanks to OuterCloud there is, and our most important imports are needed. Bridge was pretty horrible when it comes to scripting API, that's true. And you know, maybe that's for where the hate for the Bridge comes from, because Bridge wasn't really good at scripting API, and I still think that Bridge is like weird kind of shit for scripting API, right? But those people moved probably to stuff like VS Code, WebStorm, or whatever, and obviously they're gonna tell them, they're gonna tell him about the experience with those programs, right? But when they tell him about this experience, right, they go right to that point. They don't explain him how they failed doing it in Bridge because Bridge wasn't incapable of doing so, and that's the reason why they use VS Code. No, they just say, hey, use VS Code because, hey, scripting funny and it's good. And I get that. That's pretty annoying and stuff. But it's really one thing that you have to experience it. That you have to experience before you do stuff, right? Always.
You do JSON or JS. I think we've already proven that quite well, that a good section of the people needing help aren't able and haven't been able to pick up. I mean, most of them can't.
No, disagree. Like, I think that most of the people that ask for help do know about certain concepts and stuff and can create stuff. It's just that they have this barrier that they kind of need to surpass, okay? I do think that they are able to create other good stuff in JavaScript. It's just that this one barrier that they are kind of stuck on and trying to like, yeah, get away with. And that is a thing with like new scripters, and the new scripters are gonna ask a lot of questions. That's fine. You're allowed to ask questions.
Haven't gotten to ACs and been able
And that
to...
doesn't make you anything less valuable of a coder or something, that are less capable of a coder, rather, by just asking a question. Hey, I bet he goes to like a documentation size. Introduction to entities. I see it here right on the top. ChatGPT. He is definitely looking stuff up. Looking stuff up is fine. Also, asking stuff is fine. I understand with him because a bridge has a prompt for a custom component. That's true. Bridge actually made their own versions of custom components before scripting did, right? That's kind of funny. I mean, I do come across some help on Bridge that people need use a scripting API, but don't even know how to enable it in their pack, but with some experimentals and help, they can do it. Yes, yeah, if people... Yeah, that is true. People often don't know what they're like... how much they need to do that's one thing. That is kind of true. Like when you see someone, hey, I have this entity code, how do I make it do this and this? Oh, you need to do scripting. Okay, how do I do scripting? And you just send them this wall of text on how to manifest and stuff. Okay, that is kind of weird, but I guess I get that. But maybe it's also Mojang's fault a bit that they had such a weird scripting system from the beginning, right? It had a rough start. That's true, but I do not think that it's like an impossible task to do, right? I think that anyone can read through a page and then copy paste, or even watch a video, or even experiment and try to find out and do it, you know? Anyways.
To do ACs, which is a very basic scripting concept. If they're struggling to do a basic
animation control is simple concept. No, some people might think animation controls are hard as well. Like for some people, you know, only because, only because you think that animation controls are easy because you already know them, doesn't mean that other people, you know, like doing animation controls. Some people might find scripting way more logical. And hey, you don't have to use scripting to accomplish that. You can keep using animation controls, but saying that scripting is now a bad idea because it doesn't play along with like your way of doing things is just wrong. And hey, if you're not able to adapt to the new system that a majority of the community finds better, then I don't know, man. I'm sorry to tell you. What can I say? I mean, keep doing your stuff and see the game slowly dying, I guess.
Animation controller, how the hell are they gonna do JS? It seems like
you can do JS while not knowing about animation controls. Okay, animation controls are stupid. I did use them. I know how to use them, and as someone who used them a lot, I'm gonna say they suck. JavaScript is better. Deal with it. I mean, that just emphasizes that it is true what he said in the beginning, that there are multiple types of persons, some of which might find it easier to do scripting and animation control. Some might think animation controls are easier. But then again, that's not really a reason for to boycott scripting, you know? Heck, I've never done an animation or animation controllers in my packs, so I'm still learning those. Yeah, good luck.
Choices are out of touch with their customer and the community base that's actually doing it.
Again, I think that most of the community is transitioning towards scripting, and it's a new thing, and already seeing the high velocity that scripting API has is amazing. I bet that over half of the community already tried scripting or is already doing scripting. So, I don't know, man. If you think, I genuinely believe that he's wrong with saying that most of the people are still writing stupid JSON code, right? I genuinely think that's not the case. Prove me wrong.
I had to guess, in my experience, what I would say is their focus is partners and money more than it is creating a ecosystem for creators to move into. So 4 years ago, 5 years ago, before the marketplace was created, the only focus was the creators and making it easy for people to get in and make stuff.
Yeah, Mojang are evil people and are trying to remove more people from the marketplace program because it brings the money. So that is why they're making developing for Minecraft so much harder, so people cannot sell stuff on the marketplace anymore. Yeah, bro. I'm not. I mean, that's just complete bullshit.
Brought in, $1 billion into the industry. Now the focus is on enabling and giving more power to the programmers within the partner program so that they can do more with it and make more money. You see the difference there? So instead of focused on the creator side of things and making it an easy bar to entry and being able to let anybody mod and do add-ons,
Again, not the guy who is doing the easy entry, right? That is like a very new to programming is not gonna get accepted into the marketplace program. Yeah, that's just not what's happening.
Is money and allowing partners to hire professionals to do more through an API programming system.
Right. Another thing that I can just think of is, since he likes to use components and component groups, he can also get snippets from the community that uses API. Can just make fill them help for him. I mean, I guess. Again, scripting API is just making the things that you think are right. You're creating essentially your own API with scripting API.
Those two I don't think are compatible with each other.
Actually, his point, like that they're more focusing on getting experienced people instead of helping the community out. Okay, so first of all, if that would be the case, what is so bad about having experienced people? Like, I don't think it's wrong having experienced, high quality, good content, right? And I think also that scripting API benefits the community a lot, if you haven't noticed, right? Again, it's us, the community, that made scripting API even possible. I don't think they're doing it for the money, okay? I mean, not purely for the money. I don't think that if you would go ahead and go ask Darknavi, hey, are you doing scripting APIs so marketplace developers can earn more money? Dude, scripting API hasn't even been available for the marketplace for how so long. So, I don't know. For who was this supposed to be? Then, if not for the community. In fact, most of the scripting features are still locked behind the experimental toggle. But yeah, it's all just greedy company. Let's boycott scripting because they want to create high quality content. It's so hard because JavaScript's so expensive and so hard to get into. I don't know, man.
I think that if I was doing it, I would stick with the original plan for 4 or 5 years ago, and I'd make it an easy entry barrier to entry so anybody can get in, create, and I'd force the partners to deal with it. Because that's what Bedrock is. That's the Bedrock they got into. And
I mean, just rewind the bot, okay? I talked about stuff like this, yeah. I feel like I've said enough.
instead, what they've done is they got into Bedrock how it was, and now they've demanded and bitched and moaned that it be changed into something completely different so that they can profit more on it. That's gross, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's all for the profit. Definitely not the community that made
taking
scripting
something
API great.
That was a special niche in the industry that only Bedrock had this. It was the only game out there that any kid could pick up and start creating in and modding in and doing add-ons in.
Roblox. Nah, joke. Actually, it's quite funny. When my channel was new, I got like a sponsor request for like a visual learning Roblox type of game. Maybe that's something for him.
In a few hours, and now that's being changed into a corporate profit center, where it feels like they don't want those people. They don't want those kids in there. They want the professionals to make professional products that they sell to the kids instead. So that's my rant about why I don't do JSON and I don't do JS, and
You
I'm
do
not
J
going to
do
do
you do
JS.
JSON?
The more they shove JS down my throat and force us to use it instead of other things, or the more they take away those
He
features,
just
the more I
hates
just
the
won't be
fact that
part of
he
this
will have to
community,
write
and I'll go
JS.
to a different community that is well.
Like, I genuinely don't think that. I think he just hates the people that tell him that he is supposed to write JS. I get that. I get it. It's annoying. It can be annoying a bit. But hey, well, what are you supposed to do? You gotta move on, mate. You gotta move on.
Coming for what I want to do. So up until now, I've felt like Bedrock was by far the best place to be. I've tried for 30 some years to learn game development and a lot of these concepts, and through Bedrock, because of its simplicity and how it functions, I was able to learn a lot more, even while doing Unreal Engine 4 and 5, than I had learned over there. So in Bedrock, like a state machine is much easier to understand and learn
And
than
guess what? I also learned my JavaScript skills through Minecraft Bedrock. Why? Because it's the passion. It's the if you really wanna create something, you are gonna create it. That's just true. And I don't think it really matters then how you create it or what you're capable of. If you really want something, you're gonna achieve it. Some might take longer, some might take shorter.
than it is in Unreal Engine, or doing animation controllers is much easier to learn. And so by doing development in Bedrock, because of how easy and how non-complicated it is, it was much easier for me to learn how to do game development. So I learned a lot more how the concepts work. Even though I was doing those concepts in Unreal Engine, I didn't understand them very well because it's so complex over there, and you have to build everything from the ground up from
Yeah,
scratch.
that's the
where
great thing
Bedrock already
about
has
Bedrock.
this.
I also agree. But in Bedrock, you don't have to build everything from the scratch, right? Microsoft purposely provides those APIs, right? In fact, components are also just an API to something, right? It's an interface to a feature of the game. You don't have to implement the feature itself into the game, right? You use what's already implemented and change some states, some values, some whatever. So, yeah. Can I say?
Perfect foundation, and you can see how things function within it. And so personally, I think, well, one, why am I passionate about this? Because Bedrock changed my life and allowed me
Same.
to make games and be able to be a game developer when I was told I would never be able to because I wasn't a programmer. So you can see that I've been told my whole life, you can't do game development, you can't make your dreams, you can't make content until you're a programmer.
But I mean, I'm serious. I do wonder, what does he think the combination of JSON and Molang, or what does he think that is? Is that not programming? What does he call that? What is he calling Molang, right?
Programmer, and through Bedrock and Bridge, I was able to prove those people wrong and show that you can do all of those things. However, now those programmers are inside the Bedrock community saying you can't do game development and make your dreams without learning JS and programming again. So I found somewhere that those toxic people weren't. And now over the last 4 years, those toxic programmers have now come into the community and taken it over.
Toxic programmers exist, right? I also hate if someone tells me, hey, Linux is so much better, go ahead, use Linux, right? It's real. Toxic programmers are real. But I think that even more frustrating is that getting discouraged to do something based on those toxic programmers. I think that's even worse.
And they tell people every day, you have to learn JS to do this. You have to learn JS to do this. You have to learn JS. You should learn JS. You should learn JSON and JS. You should. It's like every day in the chat. Yet they didn't need to learn JS or JSON over the last 4 years to do what they want to do or make their dreams. They're being told they have to now. And I think that's offensive. I think that
my opinion is that JS is the trickiest thing for the reason that you can connect to a HTTPS server, where from there it's up to you on how to take it, which is true. Yes, better documentation for the programming languages work. If you want to be good at JS, personally, I would recommend that you train thinking as a programmer in either language, C++ and Java. Everyone, yeah, I mean, I guess everyone has their own experiences. Everyone will go their own paths, and I think that's just very hard to grasp as like a programmer itself, to which is why I also think that those toxic programmers exist. Everyone has their own way of finding a way to success, and right, everyone wants to share this way because they think it's the right one, because it's the one that succeeded for them, but obviously that's not the case for anyone. Can't he just keep can't he just keep his packs on an older format version, because that's what the format versions are for, to use an older version of the engine and allow people to use things that are deprecated. I'm not sure how it is like with events and stuff for, format version, but I do know that format version, is good for compatibility, especially because of all of the marketplace stuff, right? Format versions have to exist, because if they make a big change, they essentially would break the marketplace, right? Which is why they gotta have this backwards compatibility support. And opting into the scripting API, right, is, as I said, opt in. You can stay at the older versions, you can still experience the old thing. The one's forcing you to do anything. So, with all honesty, I'm pretty sure having the modding engine as a programming interface API is better. Mostly because of the complexity that comes with having it as data structures, JavaScript object notation. Yep. Like, I also think that doing logic inside of JSON is way harder than like in JavaScript, as JSON is simply not made for that. And I think the reason for Mojang removing events and stuff is because they realized that that was an issue. And I also think that the community played a big role. Again, as I said earlier, the community made the JavaScript scripting API, and that's why they went with JavaScript. Yep. Because we're already we are already using it for the game, lol. The JavaScript object notation. I even made a comment under his video. Wait until you find out what JSON stands for. Nice. Let's continue. It's a lot more. Let's continue. What else he has to say?
That's not healthy for the ecosystem or community. But when I bring that up, people then say, well, you hate Mojang. You're being a hater. You're being abusive. You're being harassing. No, I'm literally stating my point and my point of view, and someone in the community seeing this, being involved, being invested in community, sees harm and damage being done by programmers and people that don't seem to have a focus on the barrier of entry or the bar of entry or meeting people where they're at. I think it's more important to meet the creators where they're at than forcing them to meet Mojang where Mojang wants to be in the JS world.
Now again, I'm gonna re-emphasize this point. It's not Mojang that made scripting API great. It started out as game test, as a testing framework, so people could verify that their add-ons work correctly. We, as a scripting community, used it and made some amazing stuff from it. Because we had that one vision, we wanna make something that uses the chat, and then we looked up how it works, and you need scripting for that. Then we use scripting. And that's how I think most of us got into scripting. It's not that we're just some weird scripting freaks that trying to shove scripting down our throats and down others' throats and try to convince, hey, we are like the best if you do it that way, or like it's the best if you do it this or that way. It's a community effort, and I don't think that Mojang is purposefully trying to harm the community by making like the entry bar higher, right? Game test was literally meant for testing. Yeah.
There's two huge difference there. The original Bedrock seems to have been created to make and meet creators where they were. The current
I also think that this is still the case. I mean, now it's like we are talking to the Mojang developers closer than ever because of scripting. We can tell them if we don't like a feature, and they will, if enough people speak out about it, they will change it. Like, it's crazy how much impact the community has on scripting. But the team behind Game Test saw our creations and added more things to it. That's true. And then they even ask for feedback on Discord servers like Bedrock Add-ons and Bedrock Game Test. Gosh, it is so good having this confirmed by another source than just me. It is true, though. It is true. That is what they did. Mojang went out there and asked the community, hey, what do you guys want? It is not them shoving us the scripting API down our throats because, well, as he said, it will make Marketplace more professional and harder to get into and all that stuff. Now considering to even make it fully JS. That's crazy, right? Because it's actually better long term. And we already confirmed it? Oh, yeah, that's crazy. I never heard of that fully JS, but I also confirmed that. Wait, that's crazy if that's true, honestly. Because I never heard of it. But that would be crazy if everything would be JS. I mean, you're probably gonna end up writing objects anyways, just straight up JSON, with functions from, how's it called? Wait, okay. Forgot you heard that, lol. What he's taking back his messages, what? Do you have any idea why Molang features removed that you can no longer use the variable scoreboard on the player's entities? You have that I had to move the HUD because of this. Personally, I agree with the game test and JS part, but I don't really agree with the JSON documentation. Do you have any idea why Molang features can use variable scoreboards? Wait, you cannot get scoreboards with Molang anymore? They still want to partially represented as JSON. Yeah. As I mentioned before, I think what they want to do is they want to have a separation of concerns. That you like have the definition in one place and the logic in another place. That's what I think they're trying to aim for. Which is, I know it's a pretty complicated thing. It's called separation of concerns. But only the general information of the entity items is, yeah. Yeah. Can I see the fire? Good. No.
system
Okay, let's continue.
is telling and requiring creators to step up
They want to be logic to be in scripting. Yes, exactly. They want logic and definition separated. That's what I'm saying.
up to where Mojang and the professional programmers at Mojang want to be and demand we all move up to.
Again, it's not Mojang that demands us to do anything. It was us, the community.
There's a huge difference in the mentality and the thought process behind those and the priorities and where the focus is of who is the customer here and who are we trying to meet the needs of and who are we trying to give a great experience to. I don't think focusing on the programmers and giving the programmers a great experience is free. I think that's at the cost of everybody else that's not a programmer.
I mean, obviously, people that have no experience in coding will, or like in scripting, will fall behind when Mojang like moves on with their stuff. But hey, maybe you guys see it in the way that you yourself have to move on, you know? Said yes to it being for scripting, everyone else too. Actually, one thing that I am missing from the API for me, making the ability to add regular swing animation when using an item as used on item events. Yeah, you could. Even big events did like BCBC, MCBC. Yeah, okay, so let's go over this. Yeah, obviously scripting API is not perfect. There are some things where you still need JSON files for, but hey, that what the community is for. Once Mojang has done all the stuff to make scripting API bearable, I bet they will like add those small thingies that aren't like necessarily to make scripting API function, but rather to be a nice convenience. And it's only gonna get better at this point. And yes, Outlandish Crafted assumes that most of the people are still doing entity JSON stuff, or like in general JSON stuff, right? What I actually think is that at least over 50% of the people had tried scripting or are using scripting. He is assuming that most of the people still use JSON. I assume that most of the people, transition over to scripting at least. Well, stage 1 is almost complete, I hope. I know how it works, but it's almost complete. Well, we'll see. I mean, to be fair though, they did kind of tease with the preview a 2.0 version. Because game test is at version 0.0 or this, yeah. Yeah, and they teased a 2.0 module, right? So 2.0.0. When you go into the preview, you can already see that there's a 2.0.0 module. So we'll see. As scripting API has a bright future with many more features. You're not forced to move this, use these features. You can stay at your old format version, min engine version. If I recall, that's what I heard. Yeah. There's also 0.1.13. It's like both right now. They will add client scripting. That thing I'm not sure about. Back then I was like, sure, yeah, client scripting. But I think now I think what they will do is have the servers send the client's UI renderer or somewhere that requests. I think that's what they're doing. Just like a JSON UI. Oh no, JSON UI is full client, right? But I think they will do a server-side solution instead. That's what I think. I used to also think that they like do client modules because they inside Minecraft's code there were already like client modules and stuff, or like the names for them. But I think a lot of stuff has changed. I think even with like React server components and stuff, I do see a world where we will have React on the server for rendering UIs. When you generated docs using BDS, did it also say client? Minecraft client? You can see if they've created more modules, like ORUI. Oh, that's interesting. An ORUI module. Fancy. Anyways, let's watch the video.
So the 90% of us are now going to have to change.
Again, I don't think it's 90% that don't use JavaScript, right? It's maybe the opposite of around, right? One thing that has not changed in a long time is the server UI module. That's true. I don't think they want to change it because, you know, they're introducing new stuff. Anyways.
Either leave the industry or move into programming or encoding to keep up with Mojang's demands. Even though 4 years ago, when we started to invest this time and energy, none of this was even on the table. It was all going to be blocks and items and components and events, and all of that's been wiped out. I don't know if that's
Again, you
because
can argue here, what is he considering programming, you know? Like, isn't writing Molang also programming? What is considered programming? Actually, no, it's quite opposite. Most people make use of scripting inside of MCPDL. That's what I'm saying. Like, he assumes that most of the people, or most of the new people, right, are using here the JSON still, right? I think that most of the people use scripting, and yeah, you can see it with MCPDL. You could go into any add-on, and it will have scripting in it. I can bet you. Is it probably because they're working on the OR UI? Yeah, of course.
of
It is because
employment
of that.
changes and leadership at Mojang. They say it's because they failed to implement those other systems and they were too complex and there's not enough bandwidth
Most
within
likely,
the
yeah.
staff. But when program
I mean, yeah, if Mojang realized, if his take is true, right? If Mojang themselves realized that what they did was a mistake, then they should have every right to do so to change it, right? I mean, if they are uncomfortable with like being able to add new features because of internal infrastructure, who are we to say that they should like, you know, keep making a broken game? Let's say its implementation is on 100% in preview, so it should come out soon as an API for us, as they promised. I really hope so.
programmers tell me there's not enough bandwidth within their support staff, to me that translates into they want to do programming because programming is easier to support and non-programming isn't.
Again, I think that making a JSON site, right, a JSON API and a JavaScript API is pretty similar. If not, the JavaScript API would be harder to maintain, right? They still have to convert the one thingy to an internal API call in their C++ backend. No matter JavaScript, no matter no matter JSON, right? They still need to make conversions between different calls or two calls from the API to the API. One thing I find kind of confusing in the better together graphics pack they never released, but they are always working on different technical preview. Isn't that the same way? I'm not sure what this means. Better together graphics pack. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna be honest.
That's simple. Programmers only can see programming as the solution.
Well, yeah, that's well, it's not a wrong take, right? If you're a programmer, you think as a programmer, right? As a programmer, you think things differently. If you see something visually, you think, oh yeah, I would need to do this and this to do that. But that's not different from how you would do with like JSON and stuff. Like if you would have to do the JSON stuff, right? You also would have to go through that process of seeing things and going it through your head. Oh yeah, I would need to add an event sequence here, run a command there. That's still programming. That is programming. And as much as you want to deny it, even doing stuff like that is considered programming.
That's the only tool they have. So, why am I not doing JS? My brain doesn't do it. I've tried for 30 some years. I've tried to do, when I was 18, I bought a book for Learn Java in 30 days, and that was
Java's not JavaScript.
20 years ago. One of my family members took that book and learned it, and he's a professional programmer, and he makes incredible software. And
Again, everyone learns different. You might not be able to learn from a book. Right, some might be able to learn stuff from books, some might not be able to learn from books. Saying that you worked 30 years is kind of misleading, as you can learn programming as a general concept, right? But in the case of Minecraft, if you want to learn it for Minecraft, you actually do learn it, let's say the Minecraft way. You learn the Minecraft concepts and stuff. You don't... Yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. The Better Get a Graphics pack was supposed to be released with the Xbox One subscription. I assume that means. They even had a trailer for it, but they never released it because of limitations. Okay, that's interesting.
Incredible stuff, and his brain works that way. I've done Python, paid programming for Python. I've done XML. I've done HTML.
Wait, that's confusing though. He literally said he was incapable of doing programming because his brain wired to do so, and now he's like saying that he was able to do Python, XML, and HTML. I don't know, like that's... If he does Python, why doesn't he do JS? Exactly. Like that's kind of contradictory. Like he keeps saying that he is not physically able to do it, but just, you know, just disproves himself. JS is simpler than Python. I also think that. I mean, JavaScript... Sorry, JS is more simpler than Python, yeah. I think that JavaScript may have more quirks, but overall, I think that getting to deal with Python's indents is way worse than anything JavaScript has to offer.
CSS. I've done probably 10 or 15 to 20 different languages that I've learned to make a project.
Yeah, but he didn't focus on one specific one. If you really want to learn like something, then you need to completely be invested into that. Again, talk from before, having passion and stuff, right? He's contradicting himself. At this point, I don't think he knows what he's talking about when it comes to what programming is. Maybe, yeah. That's what people in the comments are saying as well, right? We're definitely not the only ones who are experiencing that, and you know, I think that the comments are saying exactly that he didn't really experience it yet, so he doesn't know what he's talking about, basically, right? Python has decorators. I fucking hate decorators. Okay. I mean, in general, I'm a functional bro. Okay, I'm a functional bro. Either way, but I see why people find decorators good and stuff, and hey, if you use them, okay, cool. Then yeah, it's not my thing. Mojang is planning to add a Python API. Just saying, lol. I heard that multiple times, and I don't know what to believe, because Mojang themselves said you can even go into like wiki.bedrock.dev, right? There was like an scripting FAQ, right? I mean, it's kind of outdated. Additional languages, right? They did say, but because intentionally we've done some fun things with playing Lua, even something like Blockly. I don't think we can commit to adding any official support in other languages in the moment, though. So I don't know about that. Hello, sir. Hello. Hello, Archer Gamer Studio. I hope I pronounced that somewhat correctly. Did they say anything about like any updates on additional languages? Nothing has changed here. Our scripting stuff is pretty abstract anyway. From JavaScript, but it'll still be a huge dev cost to support multiple language runtimes. I don't think this sounds like we're gonna have Python. I'm gonna be honest. I think this just means nah. We're just gonna focus on one thing because it's the best thing to do. And it's also the cheapest thing to do because, hey, JavaScript developers, there are many JavaScript developers in the sea.
And then as soon as the project's done, all of that information I learned is gone. Normally within 3
I mean, yeah, so
days to a week.
I mean, yes, because you're not committing it to it. You're just moving on. You're just forgetting about it. As a programmer, you have to invest time and not just a day or two. Like, you have to sit daily on it, right? You are gonna forget stuff. That's not necessarily a trait that only you have. We all suffer from this. It's not like riding a bicycle. Programming is something where you can get loosely after some time, right? That is just how it is, and you need to be invested. Else, you cannot expect results when you don't try anything. Just doing small projects based on a tutorial, like a demo app or something like that, building a weather app, that's just not gonna work. You have to do your own stuff that you wanna have, and yeah. I always forget stuff, even in JSON and scripting API. That's why I keep referring back to the docs and why I have them bookmarked on my browser. Exactly. We cannot remember anything, and we have to look stuff up. And looking stuff up is okay. It is okay, and you don't have to be scared of looking stuff up if that's what you're going with that, right?
So I probably could sit down, learn JS, use it for one project for a week or two, but then if I stop at any point during that, it's all gone.
Yep, that's how it works. That's how it works. But don't be afraid to look stuff up again. Like, it's not a problem to forget things. I forget things every time. In fact, I even have a friend, Cookie. He has a goldfish brain. He forgets everything. He forgets what he did this morning. Guess what? I kind of made him do JS. And, well, now he cannot get away with, like, using JS, right? Like, he now... a bit off topic, but you'll find it cool, by the way. It works on the base game, by the way. Is there a message that I'm missing? Because it is kind of weird. This is my chat, this is kind of weird. Him talking about going back to something in a week's time and not remembering anything, I've had the same thing happen. I've had to reread countless lines of code to remember where I was. That's true. And I think everyone knows that meme that when you like go back to an old code base, and that one meme, when I wrote this code, only God and I knew what it was supposed to do, but now only God does, or something like that. That is a real issue. And as a programmer, your ability is to be able to reconstruct based on what you see, based on the logic that is right in front of you, okay? That is one thing that programming does. Open Minecraft inside browser Tinker. Minecraft Tinker. I think I know what Tinker is, but let's just see. Minecraft. I know what protocols are. Hello, bloody man. Tinker. Yes, open. Well, that didn't do a lot. Maybe I have to be in preview. Since when there's a realms button, by the way. Anyways, let's go into preview. Go in a world. Oh, okay. Wait, I think I know what it is. I think it's the visual thingy, right? I remember it, I think. I never knew that. Doesn't seem to do anything. I mean, it gets me into Minecraft, but it works in the base game. Well, not quite for me. Like, you see, it like brings me to Minecraft, but because they use the same version, if you say so. But I do remember that being a thing. Maybe I need to enable Education Edition. I think that's the thing I need to do. Oh man, on Google. Hey. Sup. Hey, can you install BlueStacks. Why would I install BlueStacks? I know what BlueStacks is. Where would I install it? Tinker. Okay, I'm gonna say. I thought you meant like in the protocol. Minecraft. Yeah. How do I like? What do I do here? We'll continue the video shortly. I'm just curious. Click on play. Well, Minecraft. Minecraft add-ons? I think just play, right? I don't know. Continue to dashboard. I know what this is, right? This is like then click on Minecraft. Okay, I was supposed to click on Minecraft. Shit. Where click Minecraft. Create a new project. Okay, I think I was right? My projects. Oh, Minecraft. How do I create project? Oh, I see. Minecraft. Create item. Start project. No, this. Wait, no. Windows? Oh my god. Report me. Minecraft. Minecraft add-ons. Bedrock Edition, Windows iPad. Start project. Piggy bank. Okay. Why is this so weird? Whoa. Like it's slow. I don't know why. Piggy bank. Okay. You can press here to skin bottle as a mob. Okay. Here are cookies. And click on Blocky. What is Blocky? Oh, what the hell? Dude, my browser is way too slow for that. Or my internet, rather. The visual editor. I know that there's like a visual... Oh my god! For agent. You know what? Maybe you can show me that. Because I am... My internet kinda sucks, as you can see. My internet goddamn sucks. Yeah, maybe you can show me how that works after we continue watching the video. Top left. Just show me after we finish it. It's only 2 minutes.
I just wasted all of that time. So, there you go. That's CyberAxe's rant and complaint about JS and why I'm not doing JS, why I've never done JSON. I do no code. I've never had a problem doing no code. I can do everything I seem to want to do.
All right.
I'm doing, I bet, 10 to 100x more than all the people even doing JSON.
I guess that's it. Okay. Cool. Final notes. Right. I didn't thought it was actually it. Okay. Nice. Final notes. It's great that he can do his stuff without like using the scripting API and stuff, but that is still not a reason to say that like everyone else should not be doing scripting API and that's a bad decision, and accusing Microsoft of being corrupt and doing it all for the money, even though the scripting API was a community effort. If you don't want to use scripting, just don't. At the end of the day, it's up to you. Yeah, and please consider there are other people, and yeah, what can I say more? That's basically it. Oh yeah, and don't get upset over some weird people that try to annoy you and say that hey, scripting is the best and stuff. Try to use it. No, work on your own pace. It is fine to search things up. And yeah. Don't forget to clear your cookies. Alright. If you want, you can also go into a VC. Theoretically. Okay, but yeah, it's a very interesting video. Very controversial. You guys can see, for most of the time. This is like 11 hours ago, what? It got some real big views, which is quite interesting. Well, we'll see if I can like change something or that. I don't want to change anything. I just want to really clear up any misconceptions, right? Because I think that some of the things he said are just fundamentally wrong because he didn't know anything about what he was talking about. Okay. Anyways, Tinker, right? It was Tinker calling for kids. Shit. In fact, I could just do this, right? Anyways, let's see what this thinker thing is about. I don't. I feel like you streaming me the video of it would be easier, because that shit ain't loading. That shit is not loading. Yeah. I don't know what's I don't know what's happening, but since I like set up my PC from zero, from scratch, right? Or like since I reinstalled my PC is, or like my internet is utterly slower, or like it's not my internet, it's like some applications, like Discord and some sites like Notion are just so much slower for some reason. I cannot tell you why. Like look at it, it's not even trying to do anything. So I'm not offline, right? No, see, my internet is doing fine. 0 frames dropped. Anyways, King, do you want to go into like any VC or something like that and you stream it to me? I think that would be the easiest option. You can go really anywhere. Bedrock add-ons, my server, Bedrock scripting API server. Really anywhere. If you prefer that, because as you see, I'm being hated. Yeah, my Discord is also quite so. Bedrock add-ons? Deal. Alright, the dark place. Well, we're now in the dark place, for anyone wondering. The dark place. Yeah, what is happening, dude? Oh! It did something. Oh, okay. Play Minecraft? Yeah, I don't think it But why did it work before? Dude, it's always so cursed. Why? Bro, what the hell? By the way, I'm streaming, just so you know. No. It's good. The stream was just ranting about a guy talking shit about scripting anyways, so. Oh, there's King. Sup. Sup. Yeah, he's gonna show me like this thingy Tinker, which lives inside of Minecraft, I guess. It's pretty interesting. So I did see some screenshots of it, but I like never saw it working in game. But yeah, sup. So yeah, what we basically did was you know Outlandish Craft, right? No, yeah, sure do. Everyone knows Outlandish Craft. Okay, anyways, he made a 50-minute video, like with his experiences about scripting and how he like doesn't like it. 50 minutes, yeah. I reacted to that. Well, kind of, yeah. And I stream for more than 3 hours. That's how much I had to say. I'm still streaming. Oh, you want the video, right? I would if my Discord wouldn't be freezing. My Discord is literally frozen. I cannot click anything. Thanks, Discord. Let me quickly restart. Don't we love Discord, Chad? Don't we love Discord? Hey, look, it now works. I mean, if you really want to view 50 minutes of someone confusing JSON with JavaScript with Java, then go ahead. Well, if my Discord would, of course. See, I don't know, for some reason, it's specific sites, only specific sites. The rest works completely fine. It's Discord, it's Notion, it's apparently Tinker now as well, where everything is just so slow, and I don't know why. What in the Discord is that? Look, but at least that works. Just let me know if you received it, because I cannot see if you received it. Oh my god. What is happening with my Discord? Well, anyways, I think I made my point. I think I'm gonna stop streaming because it might be my internet. I don't like that. I'm still gonna look into this Tinker thing though, in hopes that my internet gets better, of course. But yeah, I hopefully made my points. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I hope you guys could have, or you guys related to what I said. As long as the playback works, I'm like fine. Perfect. Oh! That took a bit. Anyways, guys, bye bye.